Jake were in a Discord call one night, and I was like, dude, what should I change my Discord name to be? And then there was just a long pause of silence. And then Jake goes, Agnar Argengar. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And he said, I have no clue. I just thought it sounded funny.
He just summoned a demon.
Yeah, so I was like, okay.
He's speaking in tongues.
In my profile picture is that dude vomiting on a baby in a stroller because I think it's a funny picture.
I made mine communism.exe once upon a time, and I haven't changed it
It's still communism.exe.
on everything. You know, this probably isn't information that we should just put out there.
Yeah. You get random requests.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the It's Hard to Explain podcast. I am here with my boys, and we are here to ramble and talk about goofy shit, like always. How are we doing, boys?
I'm great.
Abysmal.
It's Friday. I got paid.
It's Friday. It's
Friday.
10:30 at night, and me and Jake are drinking iced coffee.
I
And
am
I-
doing. Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm
Yep.
Your
and I'm
mother.
I'm also doing.
No way.
Sure.
Man, I need to wash this down with an ice cold glass of.
Are
Today.
you also doing
What's up?
sure thing?
Oh, I'm also doing. Fucking off. No, I'm doing fine.
Nah, I was lying whenever I said abysmal. I'm okay.
It is another media episode, but first we're gonna do a little
No
catch up.
Little catch up. So
No
Adam,
way.
from the way it sounded, you had a story to tell.
Not necessarily a story, just a recap of the events that took place this morning.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Let's
Oh, boy.
hear it.
So,
yeah.
as you guys know, I had a late start to my route. It was absolutely insane. I think fatigue and exhaustion are finally taking over my body.
About time.
How old are you?
About time.
22.
22.
Yep, the
great
slow
sign.
grind.
I've
Adam, it's like that
I've just been
meme.
overworking myself lately.
It's like that meme that's a picture of a Draugr from Skyrim.
Nah, man, night shift
I work
pretty
night
easy.
shift. How
Yeah.
can you tell?
This is Derek. He is 22.
Yeah.
He's-
Nah, man, night shift easy as hell. Derek, 24.
Yeah.
And he's straight up just a Draugr.
But so for my route on Friday, on average, I want to try and be up and about and like on the road around 4 to 4:30 in the morning, maybe 5 at the latest. Today I got on the road at 7:30, which is the time I have to go into work on a regular warehouse
So
day.
you were 3 hours late.
How happy was Boss Man?
I mean, my boss is really cool, so
is.
he's just kind of like, "Come on, man."
Yeah. Do
Especially
better.
since I'm probably his fucking best employee.
Come on, man.
Probably his favorite.
See, I've said this before. It's kind of a manipulation tactic, but whatever. At any job I work, I turn myself into an indisposable asset.
Yeah.
I turn myself into somebody that they can't let go without at least thinking about it a few times and trying to figure out something.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm that same way. There was an incident like that happened to me today where I was I was supposed to stay all day. Originally, we were supposed to work Saturday too because of how much we had, but I think the bosses just said fuck it and like we'll get done what gets done, and then
Yeah.
So I was prepared to work all day, and then Kayla, who's been a guest on the podcast, was like, "Hey, you need to come home. Dog is acting really weird, like he's choking on something. It's kind of a big emergency." And I'm like, "Oh fuck, well that's great."
Yeah.
So I talked to my boss, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm getting this emergency call, and it sounds like a big deal. I think I need to go, but I don't want to leave unless we have someone to cover for me." And it was like, they were like, "Fuck," and like they weren't mad at me because I do my job well.
You said,
And-
was this today or yesterday?
It was today.
Okay.
I do my job well, and they like me, so I feel like getting rid of me would be a big L on their
Yeah.
part
Yeah.
if it happened without being prepared. Because the area I work in, I'm the only other guy that knows how to run that robot.
Yeah.
So I feel like if they got rid of me, they'd be like, "Fuck, we didn't think this through."
You know, I do that every job. I turn myself into somebody that they can't like afford to just let go.
And
Yeah.
I'm
That's
not
good. That's good.
I'm not perfect at my job, I'm not like I don't go above and beyond. I just make sure that
fucking
what I
do.
do well.
Yeah.
Enough
Yeah.
that they're like, okay, we can trust this guy to do this and get it done.
Yeah.
But it's also like, don't expect me to make like 50 extra things just out of the kindness of my
That's-
heart. I make what's needed, and that's it.
That's so weird. We had a similar situation happen yesterday with one of the employees where he got like we were already behind and things were slammed, and I already told you all about all the stuff I had to do yesterday. before I even like started the actual warehouse work.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Dude, I didn't pull my first order until after lunch.
Ugh,
I didn't pull my first order until noon. But no, and then like at like 2 something, some guy he had an emergency happening at home and he had to skedaddle. So the same deal, and we were already behind.
Yeah, Kagan, I have something similar going on at work where it's just me and another guy in our department.
Yeah.
That's it. We have a specific department. Apartment. We have a specific department, and it's just the 2 of us. That's it.
Just
Nobody
the
else.
2 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
You can make it if you try.
But
You
the thing
and
with
I.
this job is I've seen almost everybody come and go, dude.
Yeah.
Almost 8 years at the same place. It does a number on a
Dude,
guy.
The gas station?
All right.
Jesus
Huh?
Christ.
The gas station?
What?
You said you've seen everybody come and go.
Yeah, precisely.
But
Adam.
Losing brain
Good
cells.
Yeah,
job.
no, I've
Yeah.
definitely. It's weird because I still feel like the new guy at my job. I've seen so many people like leave and new
Same.
guys show up, and now it's like I still feel like the new guy, but I'm like one of the senior drivers now. I'm like one of the guys who's been there the longest.
That's
I
awesome.
think out of all the drivers, I've been there the second longest
You've got like some seniority, right?
Well,
to an extent.
I kind of feel that way too in terms of I've only been there for like 2 years, but I feel like I still feel new sometimes.
Yeah.
Even though I realize I'm the boss of my area, and I'm like, oh fuck, I can't use the I'm new excuse anymore.
Same
It's
deal.
like
It's like I
you've-
realize
you're in charge. You've been here long enough that you should know not to do that.
With
Yeah.
my job, it's like I have to be in front of people 24/7, and
Yeah.
it's like sometimes I walk into work and I'm like, I get kind of nervous sometimes, but you just kind of have to realize, yeah, you're in a fishbowl. People are looking at you. You're going to be
Yeah.
watched. It's fine.
But what did kind of make me feel, I mean, so this is earlier. My boss texted me and he asked her if I was okay because I guess he heard I had to leave because of emergency, and I didn't say the reason, which is weird because he's never done that before. But he just texted me and asked if I was okay, and I was just like, yeah, I'm fine. But it's one of those things where they say they don't play favorites. But it's pretty. But it's pretty obvious they have some. They don't have favorites, but they have people they like less.
Everyone plays favorites. I don't
Dude,
care how many
I
times they say
know-
they don't play favorites. Bosses in
yeah.
work, they always play
Well, they
favorites.
say
My
yeah,
boss is the exact opposite.
they said that in a
Really?
meeting on I forget when, but they're like, we're getting tired of people accusing us of playing favorites. And I'm like, I mean, it's pretty obvious there's people you like more than others. Like,
Yeah.
it's,
No, dude, like
It's like
the
they
culture,
try not to, and they're fair. But like behind closed doors, there's definitely
if you like a person more than someone else, that's kind of just like,
Hard to
that's the
hide
human
it.
experience.
That is
Yeah.
exactly how it is at my work environment. In my work environment, you can tell there are cliques and there are favorites. You can tell that. Even the customers can tell.
yeah,
that there are cliques, and that's bad.
Yeah.
yeah.
Dude.
That's really bad.
It's like
Bad
this is
for
a
business.
workplace, not a fucking high school. But
Dude, they
Exactly.
treat it like one. Good God.
yeah, I mean, I worked there too, and there was definitely like, unless you bent over backwards, you were not favored.
You were not acknowledged. You were not
Your
appreciated.
existence was not acknowledged unless you bent over backwards and sold your fucking soul to that
Dude, I've been there,
place.
like I said, almost 8 years, and no appreciation. I don't get
Yeah.
paid enough for that, dude.
No,
but
quit your job.
The thing about that is it's fucking hard to find one. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to hire me.
Just quit your job without another job.
because I have
Just raw
skills.
dog
You
it.
can't
Say,
quit a job without a job, man.
yes, you can.
No, I'm not gonna do that. That's not smart. It's
Yeah.
unwise.
Don't do that.
Unwise.
Always have an option in place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's hard to find.
Ethan, you
It
sound
is.
a job
tired.
right now, man.
I think
It is.
everybody
It is late, man.
You sounded tired when you said that.
No, I was just relating.
tired of your shit, maybe.
Tired of your shit, Kagan.
But looping back to the catalyst of the circumstances of this morning. So I guess I was just fucking exhausted, dead to the world, because I slept through all my alarms. And then once it got to a certain point where people started getting up to, go to regular work, I got a bunch of phone calls from both my boss and my mother, because I work at the same place as my mother.
Oh yeah.
And got a bunch of phone calls from them, slept through those. And then
You were the worst at answering your
and
fucking
then
phone, dude.
my mom showed up at my apartment and started like ringing the doorbell and knocking on the door. I slept through that too.
Oh wow.
Brother.
So, Mama was probably scared.
Yes, the boss was too. He was like, I hope there wasn't like a gas leak. And he died in his sleep.
Love is in the air. Wrong. Gas leak.
Carbon monoxide.
Luckily, we have carbon monoxide detectors in our apartments.
Yeah.
But
I think you have to have those.
no, he was definitely paranoid because apparently there was a time a long time ago where they had a driver who didn't show up and they tried to get a hold of him and they couldn't, and someone made a house call and he had died.
Oh fuck.
But yeah, so my boss was very like worried and paranoid.
I mean,
but-
at least he checked up on you.
Yeah, but my mom showed up and I slept through her knocking on the door and ringing the doorbell. Eventually,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Kagan, give me your phone.
No, I'm so sorry.
Kagan, hey, two more strikes, buddy, okay?
Put you in
you're off
timeout,
the
mister.
podcast.
Yeah, at the podcast. I will unplug your channel. Okay? Hey, Kate, do you understand?
Fuck.
Do you understand me?
Put you in timeout.
Yes.
Look
Yeah.
at me. Do you understand me?
I am
Say
the captain.
that you understand.
God damn it, I understand, okay?
I am the captain now.
I am the captain now.
Anyway,
But
I want on God. You can't handle on God.
I slept through her fucking beating on the front door and ringing the doorbell. Eventually, it woke up my roommate, who walked out there and answered the door basically in underwear.
It's like, the fuck you want, you old bitch? God.
My mom's not old; she had me young.
I know.
But then what finally woke me up was her inside my apartment knocking on my bedroom door.
Just getting closer.
Yeah, that woke me up. Like a knock on the door, and I was like, "Huh?" She's like, "You do realize it's like 7, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, unfortunately, I do now." And I just threw on clothes real quick and like basically ran out the door. So
Damn.
normally I'm like back at the warehouse around 6ish. This time I got back around 8:30, 8:45. So it's not that bad though. We had a driver like last week before who got back from his route at 10:30 at night.
Oh my
good
God.
Lord.
Yeah. So which he doesn't mind it. He wants the hours, but
That paycheck's going to be fucking
And then-
fat.
after he did that, the boss tried to rock up and be like, the big boss, the owner of the company, he values your safety. He doesn't want you driving at night. He's thinking about, sending a helper with you or with some of these longer routes to kind of help you get back faster. And we were like, oh, well, I don't think we should do that. I don't like that idea. And the boss was like, I'm just saying. And then he walked off, and me and my boy just looked at each other, and we were like, that is some bullshit if I've ever heard it. He's like, he does not care about our safety. He cares about all the overtime we're getting.
He has to pay you.
Yeah.
That's why
He's like, oh, fuck,
Like,
these guys are
My
getting more hours. I don't
They're
want to.
doing their job.
Yeah.
I don't want to give them money for it.
See,
Fuck.
and it's not the boss that's directly like in charge and like deals with the employees. He's cool. Like he probably does. He does care about our safety, and like he's a good boss and a nice guy.
Yeah.
The guy above him, though, the owner of the company, like he's an okay guy, but he doesn't care. Like he
Yeah.
only cares about these paychecks. Like
Do you want to? Does anyone else have anything?
Ethan, you got anything?
No.
I've been
I've said
edging
before.
for the last 53 hours.
My life is pretty uneventful.
Yeah.
You say that,
Do
but
we-
look at where you are now.
Yeah.
Do we want to get into the main thing? The meat and
nitty-gritty?
taters. The
I don't
the
think you
nitty
acknowledged
gritty.
what I just said. 53-hour edging streak.
You
wanna
want
lose
to
currently.
You want
I'm
to lose
gonna
that, buddy?
ruin that.
Not really.
Come here. Better yet,
I'll give you a-
If
Yes.
any of you even brush my leg, it's over.
Okay, you played footsies with him, and now he's coming.
But we're
It's like
gonna.
that video of have you seen the days since I've erased something on the whiteboard? It's 0, and then he erases it, and he goes to write a 1. He writes a 0. It's literal Sisyphus.
Did you just kerm?
It's like a literal Sisyphus task. Like,
Yeah.
have you seen that video, Jake? It's so good. He like goes to write the 1. He's
Fuck. Yeah.
anyway, like you said, the nitty.
The nitty gritty.
I'm grittying.
The meat and
I'm
taters.
I'm wittily hitting the glitty.
Before we move on, fuck is that on my hand? He's whipped cream.
Yum.
The fuck is
So
that?
the last
What's
episode,
that on my
I think
nipples?
it was whipped cream.
You wanna come?
The last episode was the food.
Yeah, the last episode I mentioned dating apps, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got a match.
Whoa.
I got a match.
Oh.
You gonna strike that match?
I think you told me about this.
I did tell Ethan about it. I didn't tell Adam or Kagan about it.
You
but
gonna strike that match, Mr. Woman Beater?
I tried.
Mr. Woman Beater.
I'm cutting that shit out, dude. Drop that lore, man.
Ever
It's
since
not canon.
Ever since we
not
did the
canon.
cryptid wheel and you got fucking Riley Reid, it is canon that you beat women.
Okay, can you
You
guys
beat
can you
porn
can,
stars.
Can you three right now just say
Disclaimer:
just
Jake
say,
does not actually
Jake,
beat women.
thank
This is
you.
this is a.
this is
it's
a
a
joke.
bit. It's a bit.
joke.
It's actually getting to me a little bit. I was like,
Jake's
God damn
actually
it, dude.
Jake's actually probably the
It's actually
most
starting to make him one of-
feminist guy here.
Feminist.
Yeah,
sure.
in terms of views,
I'd say soft-handed,
soft-handed feminism.
gentle-handed.
He does have
That's
soft
you're
hands.
making it worse.
I mean,
I'm not some
that means
pretty
you're
boy twink, bro.
well,
Come
we're
on
not
now.
saying you are, but you respect women.
Kagan is a brute.
Yeah, true. I
I'm
don't-
not a
I don't
brute.
respect
Adam
women at
is the shadow dweller. That's
all. Man, this one's out of pocket.
encouraging.
I like it.
I'm not a fucking brute. What
You
do you?
are-
what
you
do
are a
mean?
brute.
Okay,
You're
Just so you
clarify.
know.
I'm not a big hairy ape
All
with
of
a
you?
spiker.
To clarify, I do not beat women. All right.
Just
Yet.
so you know, viewers.
Yeah.
We are all pretty open-minded, fair individuals. We don't really like. I don't like to dislike people. I think anybody should do whatever they want.
I
be
don't like
into,
fat people.
Shut up.
God, Kagan.
Except Kagan. Me, Jake, and Ethan
I'm kidding.
are pretty open-minded. My standpoint on life is anybody should be able to do and be whatever they want, and I do not care.
I agree. This
except
is-
for pedophiles.
most of the things that we're saying. Most of the things that we're saying are just for goofs. Okay.
Do and be whatever you want as long as it doesn't negatively affect you,
Or
the
others.
people around you, or the world at large.
Don't hurt people.
Otherwise, I
don't
don't
steal
care.
their shit.
It's just like, you
That's
know,
all I ask.
that's my viewpoint on life. Just to clarify, anything we say that's like, you know, bigoted or sexist or racist,
It's
a bit.
satire. It's
You know,
It's all in.
it's completely satire.
it's all in good humor. You know.
Ethan, did you say don't steal?
We're just trying.
Don't
make
hurt
you laugh.
people.
Yes.
Don't steal their shit.
Steal from big corporations. I'm all for that.
That's not people.
Corporations are not people.
I wouldn't exactly call them people.
I think we should be able to steal from big corporations. Because,
I do daily.
What was it? Burn corpo shit.
Yeah, bird corpo shit. No, because like it's. This is a little bit into the media, but you hear about Ubisoft basically telling people to get used to not owning their games.
Oh
Dude,
yeah.
that should-
And it's like, dude, if you're gonna threaten me with that, I'm gonna pirate your shit. Like,
Did you pay
I'm
your
not
new
even gonna
Assassin's
pirate your
Creed
shit.
subscription?
it's
That's a thing, dude.
yeah, it's like be prepared for us to take it away. It's like fuck you.
Wait. Assassin's Creed subscription?
Yeah, it's called like Animus or something. You can. It has like all. You have access to all of the Assassin's Creed games, new and old, and I think it's a subscription service. I think for Ubisoft.
Why do that when I can just buy the games outright and not pay a monthly fee?
Like
Bring
that.
back discs, bro.
Why do that when I can just stop playing Ubisoft games forever because
Stop
they're all
playing
the same
Assassin's Creed.
fucking game? I've played every Ubisoft
They
game
have
already.
nice worlds with fucking nothing in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Rich, beautiful, dense open worlds full of but fucking nothing.
I think the games that I think the newer game that they have that's had the most going for it has been Watch Dogs 2. I really enjoyed Watch Dogs 2.
That came out like what, 10 years ago?
Something like that, dude.
I really enjoyed For Honor just because the combat system in it is very unique.
See,
I agree.
I love Ubisoft for some of the experiences they gave me. Far Cry 3 is one of my favorite games ever. I love Far Cry
It's a
3.
goated game.
Far Cry 5 is my favorite.
But I feel like every other Far Cry after 3 has just been a copy paste.
I feel like
That's the Ubisoft formula.
the
I
next
have.
one.
I have not played any Far Cry games. I've played a little bit of Primal.
I think you'd like 3.
Far Cry 3 is goated. It's in my opinion and a lot of people's opinion, it's
The best
it's
one.
between 3 and 4 for the best Far Cry because 4 is really good too.
I really fucked
But
with
I just
4.
like 3 better.
I really liked 6.
And 3's not perfect. It has its problems. It does.
I really liked 6. It wasn't like, it's not because of the story. It was just fun. I definitely had the most fun playing it, but I enjoyed the shit out of 3's story.
Yeah, 3's story.
But 6, there was so much. It was just so much fun because you had that fucking Supremo backpack that could let you basically just be a fucking what's it called? A SAM site?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, where
You could
launch
basically
all
just-
the fucking missiles.
You could basically just become one of those, and you could actually like customize weapons and put attachments on them and everything. And it was a very fun experience.
Does that one take place after Far Cry 5?
I think
New Dawn?
so. I think so.
Not New Dawn. because New Dawn's like a
It's like
alternate
25 years
future
later.
with like a nuclear holocaust, basically.
But I
Okay,
think it's
so-
only in Montana that's like that, isn't it? Or is it all
No,
over
that
the
was
world?
all of North America. Because in one of the previous Far Cry games, you'll hear, I think one of the villains had like access to all the lost nuclear warheads.
I was
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
say because that one takes place in
It was the purple bedazzled one. What's his name?
Pagan Men.
I think it's him. He had the
Pagan.
blonde hair.
Pagan Men.
Fair. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pagan.
Yeah, he said he had access to like a handful of nuclear warheads, and it was going to send them
Yeah.
to someone.
Well, so that's what I don't get because 6 takes place in Yarra, which is like some country across the world.
Some fictional South American country.
Yeah, and
Central
your character's trying to get out of Yarra to go to Miami, but they call it Miami for some reason.
Miami.
He's like, I'm trying to get to Miami. Yeah,
It's probably
Oh.
the accent.
I think Yarra is supposed to be like Cuba because they're very big into tobacco and
Oh yeah.
like that's like
Fair.
one of the main
Cocaine.
Not cocaine, just mostly tobacco
I liked
is
it.
like the big thing.
I liked it better whenever they would just use a real country. Like I played a lot of Ghost Recon Wildlands.
I did too.
And I liked it, and they just used Bolivia, and they had to put a
Bolivia.
big disclaimer at the start, being like, "Anything you see happening in this game is not a realistic depiction of the current situation in Bolivia," even though it is, because every country down there is run by cartels. But
Yeah.
I love Wildlands. That game kicks ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Ubisoft is they're fucked with their shit because Kayla's been really into the Frontiers of Pandora game.
Yeah.
And it's literally just a reskin of fucking Primal. That's literally all it is.
Is it a Ubisoft game?
Yes.
Feel
Okay.
like
It looked like a
It-
Ubisoft game
that
whenever I was seeing it.
Reused assets, maybe.
Maybe, but
I
it
feel like that just plagues the gaming industry in general.
Copy
Yeah.
and paste.
Complacency.
Laziness, complacency.
Nobody wants to
just-
make anything new and fun.
Yeah.
I've been
Except
that-
Arrowhead. God bless Arrowhead.
There are a few gems
Helldivers.
that come out of nowhere and drop
Hell-
absolute.
Helldiver has had a grasp on my fucking nuts since it came
Same,
out, dude. It's
same.
like
Yeah, that's for all of us.
It's such a kick-ass game.
it is. I mean, it's
I
not
think
like
I've got like 170 something hours in
we
it.
have 84.
Yeah, that's good enough.
I looked at it earlier, but
He's been stalking you.
No, I don't.
yeah, you do. On Discord, when I look on Discord, or
Not on
like
Discord. Look on Steam.
When I go on Steam, it says like 84 hours
When did you look?
earlier today.
There's no fucking way. My brother said I have 170 something.
Jake, I have more hours on Helldivers than you, but
think he's
you're a
talking about
higher
himself.
level than me. I don't get that.
Maybe.
I have 48 hours on Helldivers. You have 47, and you're like 10 levels ahead of me.
I don't know. I guess I'm just better.
I don't know. I think
Sounds like a skill issue to me, buddy.
I think you just played on hard difficulties with
I
Ethan.
think that's it. I was gonna ask, what is maybe it could be a recent game or an old game or just multiple different games that you guys just like the mechanics of that are just fun. It's not copy and paste. It's not something that made you think, damn, it's just fun to play.
Helldivers.
Other than Helldivers,
other than
Helldivers,
that was me when I gave Ghost Runner a shot.
Ghost Runner.
I've talked about Ghost Runner before on media episodes, so,
So-
I'm not gonna talk about it too much. But that game kicked ass for me.
Uh,
Also, because I really like Doom, and it was just similar in terms of like the dance of battle.
I really liked Wolfenstein and Doom because they're both kind of that same aspect of run and gun.
I haven't played Wolfenstein, but I've played Doom 2016
I like
and Doom Eternal.
Wolfenstein's fun. I really love BioShock. It's not like the combat's like crazy or anything. It's just a fun. I just enjoyed it. I like the powers and the fucking grappling hook. That shit was cool. For Honor, like I said, that game infuriates the piss out of me so much. But it's so fun when you actually run in
When you're
fades.
good, yes, it's
When
very
you're
fun.
when
It's
you're running
satisfying.
fades because it's like
fades.
nowadays it's like you're either some matches you'll dominate and you will give them motherfuckers a low cut fade, or other matches you're gonna get ass fucked by like a level 3.
Dude, the
for
For
some
Honor
reason.
community is so fucking. They are awful.
Yes.
they are
Imagine
awful.
Ethan with
Same
a
with
low
Overwatch.
taper fade.
Imagine Ethan with
With a
low
low
taper
taper
fade. But I do agree with you, Kagan. For Honor was a very fun game to play. Have you guys ever played For Honor, Adam and
No,
Ethan?
I've
No.
tried getting into it.
I
but
watched.
okay.
I watched gameplay a long time ago whenever it was first coming out. Because whenever I was younger, just like most people, I was a big Vanos gaming fan.
Yeah.
And they had a few videos where they played For Honor together, and the game looked really cool. But I was a teenager and broke, and no internet access.
I will be honest, Ethan. It looks like a game you would love, but getting into it now may be your personal.
It has
hell.
a
Like,
steep learning curve.
Yes,
The learning curve is so bad because if you started, so I got the game on launch.
Yeah.
so I've been with it through the years. So whenever they've started, a lot of the characters now, their movesets have been reworked. So the movesets they started with are completely different from what they are now. But when you go back and play the campaign, they didn't update the campaign with that. So the campaign still has the movesets
The
from when
original.
the characters first came out. And it's so weird because the Warden, who is like he's like the main character of the Knight's story. He has such a simple moveset. Like in year one, it was literally just shoulder bash and then light and heavy attack. And now he's got so many more fucking moves. And when you try to play it now, you're like, oh, I can't do all these moves that I'm used to doing.
So Kagan, tell us about like the game mechanics. How is it different?
Just the combat system. So it's like you enter into combat and you lock onto the enemy, and then it's kind of like a Mortal Kombat situation because there's moves. You have a list of moves, that you can
Like combos?
Yeah, you can do combos, and you can some chain into the others, and then some they don't chain, but they mix really well. And then you can kill them with an execution, which just makes the respawn take longer, and the executions are brutal sometimes.
The part that looked the most fun to me whenever I saw videos was the blocking and parry mechanics.
I was about to say
That's-
that's what makes it the most unique is the blocking and parrying.
You can also-
Especially, like you can change your stance with I
Yeah.
think it's the right stick.
It's just the
Yeah.
stick.
yeah, depending
controller,
on the direction
yes.
the attack's
Yeah.
coming from, you have
You
to
can go left,
Well, and
right,
if you-
direct
up,
your
yeah.
block into
So
that direction.
there's classes. There's Vanguard, which is like your standard simple. They have the most simple moveset is your Vanguard. They're simple, and each character has a different moveset, but they're all effective in their own way. No character is better than the other, except for broken characters. But but Ubisoft doesn't fix those issues. They just go like, oh yeah, this character that's been broken since launch, yeah,
He's
we're gonna
gay
leave
now.
him alone, but we're gonna buff this character that doesn't need it and nerf this character that doesn't need it. It's like, gotcha.
Dude,
So nothing's changing.
Balancing online fighting games is a fucking struggle for most game companies. It's awful.
Yeah, but like also
Can
if
be.
you play as an assassin, they have a limited. It's called a guard stance. That's where you're blocking. Assassins have a limited guard stance, but they trade that out for they can deflect attacks. So you dodge into the attack and parry at the same time, and you can usually like the Orochi, who's like your picture just like a light armored samurai with just the plain katana. He'll dodge into it, then do that thing where he stabs behind him, and that's his deflect. Is he'll deflect into it, then stab from behind. Like
Gotcha.
the whole whatcha and whatnot. And every character is different with that, but it's a game that's fun, but it's like you gotta have the patience of a Dark Souls player.
Oh no, that's not me.
Because some characters, you can run them like there's no tomorrow. Then others, you might as well just put your controller down because there's nothing you're gonna be able to do.
I gotta
You're just
say,
like, okay,
when I made the switch from console to PC, like whenever I switched on to that, the game I started with was CS:GO,
Yeah.
and I played it a lot. I haven't played it in ages. I haven't played it since before it was Counter-Strike 2, but because they did the same thing to it that they did to Overwatch, where they just kind of updated the original game
made it
into a
free to play.
sequel.
yeah.
And they made
free-to-play with a
it
battle
free to
pass?
pay
Shit.
ages ago.
Ugh.
But
Dude.
that game,
goodness.
the mechanics were more unlike actual gameplay and controls. Like For Honor, the mechanics in CS:GO were more based around the engine that it was made in, which is I think the Source engine, the one that Valve uses, right? It might have been Source Engine 2.
I don't know. I never
But
played.
there's a lot of stuff in there. So mainly the learning curve of CS:GO is guns. First thing, you don't aim down sights. Guns have a spray pattern. And if you can memorize those spray patterns, you can really hit your shots. But if you can't,
Oh, so like Overwatch.
Bullets go everywhere.
So like Overwatch, bullshit fucking aim.
no, the aim is good and it's always pretty consistent. It's just you have to memorize these recoil patterns for the way the gun shoots.
Yeah.
So, like for the AK, the first few shots will be where your reticle is, and then the recoil will start kind of making them kind of travel up a bit, and then once they come up from that original spot, they'll kind of oscillate back and forth. And if you can memorize that, you just kind of start shooting and drag down on your mouse, and then just kind of start going back and forth where the sweet spot is.
That's always what I've hated about recoil in games versus like real life. If you shoot a gun in real life, you're not going to shoot it until you're looking up at the sky. That's not how guns work.
Yeah.
I mean, but obviously they have to have a way to balance it because that's not at all how recoil works. Recoil kind of just pushes you back. It doesn't make you go, whoa, and look at the sky. It's,
Whoopsies. But unlike For Honor, the interesting stuff that you could do with the gameplay in CS:GO was all entrenched in how the engine worked. So like there was, if you were really good, there was a movement tech called I'm sure everybody's heard of it, bunny hopping or bee hopping.
Yes.
Where how it worked was you would get up to full speed and then you'd start jumping. And what you want to do is basically how the engine works. Whenever you were in the contact with the ground, there was like friction detected, so it would kind of slow you down. But if you timed your jumps perfectly, where you had like basically no contact with the ground, you just pick up speed and you could start just going. There was a speed limit, but you could get up to that, and it was like the fastest way to get around, but you had to be like perfect with your jumps. So it was just like a really interesting, like I got decent at it, not like great, because there's like people who could just do it constantly, but for me it was like I could hit like, solid 5 or 6 in a row.
Yeah.
But also I was trying to use my space bar. Like the trick was people would bind jump to their scroll wheel, and then whenever they were getting close to the ground, they just kind of scroll down and get like 10 inputs, so it was basically guaranteed that they'd get those jumps.
Yeah.
So it was absolutely insane. But yeah, unlike For Honor, where it's like control based, the interesting like mechanics of the game, for CS:GO, it was more entrenched in how the game actually worked. And you could learn how to exploit the system to kind of get advantages.
That's another thing.
But it took skill. It wasn't like they never like fixed it or patched it like it was a bug, because it was something that took skill, and the players liked that because more high level players, like competitive players, could take advantage of it.
So it became a feature.
Yes, like bunny hopping is iconic.
So that's one little thing, is online video games have this dandy little thing called latency, right? And if you had high latency, you'd kind of get fucked.
Hey,
And
Kagan. Tell us about it.
Latency?
The fucking Mars Curiosity rover gets better ping than I do.
Exactly, dude. Because if you had shit internet in For Honor, you might as well just give up, because you were not gonna have fun. But if you have like no ping, like I'd have some characters who would straight up, I'd be fighting players, and I would be just giving them a wallop, and they just wouldn't move because their ping was so fucking high
would
that
piss me off.
they just couldn't do anything. And Ubisoft is fucking fuck you, Ubisoft, I hate you.
And I love you at the same time.
Yeah, it's like a Stockholm syndrome thing. It's like I love it and I hate it at the same time.
Ethan, what about you? Do you have any games that you really just love to play?
Speaking of Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed Unity. That one was my favorite.
I like
Assassin's
Unity.
Creed
I thought
game.
it was
just
fun.
I
fun.
loved the parkour system that they had in it, but they never used it again in the future games.
See, I never really got into Assassin's Creed. I played quite a bit of Assassin's Creed. I think 3.
3 is that
the one with the
Revolution?
Revolutionary War?
Yeah, it's Connor Kenway.
That's the one I played like the most, but I still didn't play it too much.
That one was my first.
I know that
Assassin's
Black
Creed.
Flag is considered like the best one.
It's the holy grail of the whole franchise.
It is the best one.
It's
but
pretty
I
good.
will say I like the new ones. I know that's a hot take, but I like the new ones.
Oh, you mean the
Unity-
same game, different place?
Unity introduced some of the newer mechanics that are in some of the newer games.
I guess I can't say that. I'm a Call of Duty fan, so
Yeah.
that's literally same
But,
game
like,
since 2007.
I will
Yeah.
say I
At least you're not a Madden guy
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
a 2K guy where it's just literally the same game
Fucking
every
FIFA.
year.
So Kagan, for the newer games, it's Odyssey, Origins, Odyssey, and then Valhalla, right?
Yeah.
I've only played Origins, and I haven't even beaten.
I love Odyssey so fucking much. That's probably next to Black Flag. That is probably my favorite one. And yes, it's not really an Assassin's Creed game. It has a title, but it's just such a fun
I
fucking
forget.
game.
Odyssey's in Greece,
Yes.
right? And then Valhalla's Vikings,
Yes,
and then
Origins is
Egypt.
Yeah. And they're all pretty good, and you can see the progression of the combat through them because that RPG element was still pretty new. So in Origins, it's a little more clunky. It works, but it's a little more, you can't parry. You have to block
Yeah,
everything.
and it gets smoother.
Yeah, and then in Odyssey, it's you don't block but you parry, and then the combos are a lot faster, and it feels smoother. And then in Valhalla, it's more, I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's good in its own way.
Dude, I've heard Valhalla is bloated as shit.
What do you
Like,
mean?
It's way too long.
Yes.
Dude,
I hate the animations that they have for the faces. I hate the dialogue. I hate the gameplay. I hate the fucking world.
Damn. Tell us
It
about
is
it,
not
Ethan.
an
Sounds like you
Assassin's
just hate the
Creed
game.
So okay, let me ask you this though. They did try to change up the locations. They're pretty diverse, I would say.
Yeah,
Like
the
Origin-
locations
do you
and
like
history-wise.
Egypt, Greek was it
Greece.
Greece or
like Viking.
Viking,
Norse.
like,
If they made it an
England.
Assassin's Creed story, yeah, I'd
which of
enjoy
those
it.
three do you like the best? Like the setting, which of those three do you
They're
like?
all
best?
great settings.
They
They're all-
are, they
They're
are.
all iconic.
Greece
Yeah.
is. I just
Yeah.
love Greece in general, like history and
ancient
shit.
Greece is pretty rad.
It-
It's just if they had told an Assassin's Creed story instead of just this Spartan. I forget what they did with the
Well, does it-
Egyptian one.
Does it
Well,
work
he's
better,
called a Magi, which a Magi is basically like a pharaoh's protector.
But does it
Yeah.
work better when it's not an Assassin's Creed
No,
game?
because then it's not an actual Assassin's Creed game. It's just
well, is it
Viking
that's what I'm
simulator and-
asking. Is it like better? Would it be better if it was just its own thing? You think?
yeah, it would be.
You'd like
which
it a lot
they
better?
didn't have the Assassin's Creed
My issue,
slapped onto
so
it.
my issue with it is
It's just like
Odyssey.
how the Halo show would probably be a like half decent okay show if it didn't have the Halo name on it.
Yeah, if it was its own thing.
So
yeah.
like Odyssey takes
Maybe
place. The reason it's not real Assassin's Creed like is because it takes place before the Brotherhood is a thing. So technically, Alexios, the guy who plays, is the first assassin, but he doesn't have a hidden blade. He has like the broken spear of Leonidas and everything.
Yeah.
And that's what doesn't really make sense to me because there's a DLC called The First Blade, who is Darius, and I don't think he's part of the Brotherhood, but he's one of the first people with a hidden blade itself. But then you play Origins, and Bayek is the founder of the Brotherhood with his wife Aya, and they're like, we're gonna be these fucking guys that kill bad people because fuck you. And so the story gets kind of like mixed up of like, okay, but which one is the real one?
the real.
Because if you're going by the DLC of Odyssey, Darius is the first assassin because he has the first hidden blade.
I don't think that makes him the first assassin. I think that makes him the first skilled. Well,
Well, he was an assassin. He wasn't like some like
maybe he was just an
armor-toting
assassin
warrior.
for hire.
he was just an assassin, but he wasn't like part of a brotherhood or anything.
So what I'm hearing is like it's convoluted. The
It's
story kind of-
confusing.
yeah,
Think
so
of the Saw movie
so
series.
Odyssey takes
Do
place.
not get me started.
Though Origins came out first, Odyssey takes place before Origins.
Yeah.
So when you meet Darius after the end of the DLC, he gives you the hidden blade, and that's when you have it. But
Yeah.
in the game, your character doesn't use it. But then they have the crossover from Odyssey and Valhalla, which that probably doesn't make sense because they're fucking the timeline wouldn't add up.
Yeah.
But there's a reason for that, and it's also convoluted. Is Cassandra's father is what's his name? Pythagoras or
And he's
Cassandra
like one of the,
Alexios.
Like
Um,
Pythagorean theorem.
What do they call
Pythagoras?
themselves?
Yes.
They're
The Isu.
The Isu.
Yeah,
They're like gods.
They give him this like staff that basically gives him immortality.
Immortality, yeah.
And at the end of it, your character gets it, and then there's a mashup where you play Valhalla, and you're like getting a word that someone who looks very familiar is fucking shit up, and you're like, what the hell? So you go check it out, and it's a character from Valhalla. Or not from Valhalla, from Odyssey, and you're like, what the fuck? How are they still alive?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, because they have the staff of Hermes, and that's what
This-
makes them.
This Isu artifact has kept me alive for fucking centuries.
And it's like, ugh, like I like the games, but the story is just kind of like, it makes me groan
I will
when I
say
play. I'm just like,
for
ugh.
any Assassin's Creed game, I never paid attention to the story.
I didn't
ever. I was
either.
like, it's cool.
I
It's
just kind
the
of
same
assassinated random
thing.
people in the street.
Yeah,
I never
It's
liked.
always the same thing over.
That's what I got
and
from it.
Over
I never
again,
liked
but
the-
it's in a different location.
I never
We've
liked
said
the
this.
modern day aspect of it.
Ubisoft.
but it
It's
was
the
it was,
Ubisoft formula.
It's weird though because I kept coming back. I mean, I played the first,
I did
second,
too. 'Cause they
were
third,
fun.
I did too.
Revelations,
Yeah.
Brotherhood. I played all the way up to Rogue. I think.
Yeah.
I think that was right after Black Flag.
I did not enjoy Rogue.
I thought it was cool.
It
I
was-
didn't like being the Templar.
It was just a reskin of Black Flag. That's really what it was.
What's up, Adam?
I do have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
You asked favorite gameplay mechanics wise. I think we all named. Did you name one?
I did not.
Do you have one?
Nobody ever asks me.
Do you have
I
one?
initiate the questions, but nobody.
I do have-
so
I do have a question for after though.
So I have a couple come to mind. The first one is probably Doom Eternal. That's like the most recent one that I just loved. The gameplay mechanics. The traversal is awesome.
Yeah.
Also, Spider-Man 2. The traversal
Yeah.
is awesome. It's just fun to play, dude.
This just Spider-Man. Like I played the first one and I was like, man, this kicks ass. Like
It really does.
you could really
Insomniac,
tell because
yeah.
it was like everybody was like, the first thing you have to get right is to make the traversal fun. It make you feel like Spider-Man, and
I
they,
think
they nailed it.
yeah.
Because if not, it's gonna suck ass, and you're like,
Agreed.
I don't want to. I'd rather fucking walk down the street than swing a Spider-Man.
and
if
I
it sucks.
and I really liked the first Spider-Man. You know,
Yeah.
I haven't played the second one, but you know, seeing everything, it just seems kind of mid. Just seems like the first one again, but the story's worse.
The gameplay is refined, and it's like I said, it's just fun.
Yeah.
You know? The story is
Nothing
all right.
crazy.
I mean, it's fine for me.
I did hear because you know in the first one you had all these cool gadgets that you could use, and
Yeah.
then they simplified it down to
To,
like,
like,
four.
four. Yeah, there's four.
It's like in the first one you had like 10 or something like that.
Yeah, I think they did that to balance because you have the symbiote.
Yeah, you get
abilities.
powers
Yeah.
and stuff. So it's like you need to, you know.
It's weird though because it's just like Peter was like, "Oh, I have all these cool gadgets, and let's throw out like 60% of them."
Yeah, so let's get
Yeah,
rid
what-
of like half of
I
them.
mean, the games that I think of most as far as like gameplay mechanics that I enjoy come from roguelites. I don't know if you guys play those.
I
Not
like
really.
Dead Cells a lot.
I love those games.
See, my roommate's really into roguelikes.
Yeah.
He's been playing. Have you played Hades?
I love it.
I've heard
yeah.
great things
it's
about
so good,
Hades.
and the second one's supposed to be coming out this year, and
Good.
I'm excited for it. But if you guys don't know what a roguelike is, it's basically a game where you die over and over and over again, but you start fresh. Whenever you die, you have to pretty much play the game from the start, but you retain some of the abilities that you purchase along the way,
I know
so you get
you're-
stronger.
I know you're really into Binding of Isaac.
I like Binding of Isaac. I like Hades. I like Dead Cells. I mean,
I
the
like
list goes
Dead,
on.
I
dude.
like Dead Cells a lot. He would bring his Switch to school, and during like 8th period, I would just play Dead Cells on his Switch because I
So
I
good.
enjoyed the shit out of it.
And
And,
then-
I'm not really like a side scroller type of guy, but I'm like this game I fuck with.
And then
it's
there's
fun.
games like Sifu,
Yeah.
where every time you die, you get older. So you get stronger, but you have less health. And it is so fun. That
See,
is such a fun game.
I like any game that's just super like artistically interesting to look at
Dark Souls
or like experience. It's
any
just-
Dark Souls game.
Yeah, any game that's just like, man, like this is just looks incredible. Like I just can't take my eyes away from it.
Before you ask your question, Adam, I wanted to add this. I know we've talked about The Last of Us Part 2 a lot, but as I said, I love roguelites. So recently, God of War, Ragnarok, and The Last of Us 2 got roguelike game modes, which is fucking awesome.
Sweet.
It's like the best thing ever.
Oh yeah, Ragnarok. They basically just had like a massive update with a bunch more content, and they were just like, here, have
Valhalla,
this.
free DLC,
Have this,
dude. It's
this
free.
huge DLC
yeah, for free, and it's good. It's
So
awesome.
cool.
Well, on Overwatch, it's like here's $30 for one skin.
We know you like that. Here,
we
here, here.
we
yeah,
know
yeah,
you
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's like I could have bought Helldivers for that.
And then
Why?
you just have Helldivers where they just kind of drop shit in out of nowhere
Yeah.
with like barely any notice. And
And
it's just
they-
like, oh,
they-
this is a thing now.
They weave
Rad.
it into the lore of the game.
It's
itself.
like it's
they're
cool
like-
as shit because
Yeah.
it's like things change and update in the war like real time.
They were like breaking news. The Terminids fly now, and you're like, oh fuck.
And most people don't read the news, so they just kind of go in and there's flying Terminids now, and they're like, ah!
And I love that too because I kept seeing social media posts and videos about the Shriekers, the flying
Yeah.
Terminids, and
The Ministry of Truth denies these claims.
it was awesome to finally see them.
See, it
'cause,
makes
like
it
they
makes
s-
the
was
world
awesome.
it makes the world and the war feel more real and
Yeah,
alive.
Me and
like
my
planets
brother,
lived in,
Things are
too.
changing and happening actively.
when I get home from work, my brother updates me on the situations and like defending planets. And
He's like-
liberating planets.
Have
He's
we
like,
taken
Maleficent.
how's the front going?
Have we taken truce yet?
Huh?
Have we taken truce yet? That was the next major order.
I think we did.
Yeah, I think
we liberated that sector.
I logged in and I got 50 war medals. So yeah.
we
Oh,
liberated
yeah,
it.
yippee!
The next sector is
Hooray,
the one
hooray!
below it, and I guarantee you they're going to introduce that AT-AT looking walker
Fellas.
automaton.
Did you guys hear about the acid rain?
The acid planet. I sent.
The acid rain.
I
and the
remember
acid
that.
planet.
Yeah, I sent that.
Acid planet?
Yeah,
Acid
I
planet?
sent a picture of a thumbnail with like a primal armor that has like terminid teeth on it and everything.
That's
and,
dope.
And Ethan was just like acid planet with like that
Gulp.
picture with that picture of Squidward I showed you. Just acid planet.
What was your question?
I would like to ask if any of you have a developer, a game developer or studio that you just really love, just based on their
I
catalog.
Have
You do?
I do. One is Behemoth. Have you guys heard of Behemoth?
I've
Behemoth?
probably heard
Yeah.
a few of their games.
Whenever I list them, you'll know. One's Castle Crashers. They
Okay.
also made Alien Hominid, Pit People, and Battle Block Theater.
Those are good games.
And
I
those are
know.
all good games. I love them.
Zero of those games.
Dude,
Damn.
Battle Block Theater is so fucking fun.
yeah, they're
Me and
so
Jake
fun.
used to play the shit
I
out of
haven't
that.
played I've only played Castle Crashers, but that game kicks
I'm
ass.
pretty sure they started.
Castle
But I've heard of Battle Block Theater. I haven't heard of the other
I'm
two.
pretty sure they started by making.
You good?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they started by making Flash games.
Really?
Sorry, my match just texted me. So, well, let's keep going.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, let's keep
No,
going.
let's hear what they said.
No, no, no,
Your
no,
heart-
no, no,
Jake,
no, no, no.
Your heart
No,
stopped for
yeah,
a second.
I know. I was like, oh,
Jake, I want let you got it.
No.
You got to see. it. Come on. Yes.
No.
Why?
No,
It's
we aren't
private.
putting this
No,
out to the
yeah,
world.
Let's keep.
We
keep
don't have to
going.
say names.
So,
just be like,
Behemoth is one of mine, and another one is fuck. I just drew a blank.
I love Activision, Blizzard, and EA.
We'll
the
get back to
door's
my
right there,
second one.
Adam. The door's right there.
Pick a direction and fuck it.
I'd say one is From Software.
FromSoft is a really good developer.
I'm not even a big Souls guy, but they're just I can respect the games because
Yeah.
they look fantastic. I love the boss designs, the story elements. Like I haven't even played Dark Souls 1, 2, or 3, and I watch videos about them because I find them interesting. But it's like when I think about playing them, I'm like, I ain't touching that shit.
Like Adam was saying, those FromSoft games have a very aesthetically pleasing world, and they're just so fun to look at. Like I go to them for the challenging gameplay because it's rewarding whenever you actually know what the fuck you're doing, and also the creatures more often than not slap ass, dude. They're awesome.
Their character and like creature design is like
Top tier.
It's second to
It's-
none.
yeah.
Especially in Elden Ring, dude. I fucking
Yes.
love the designs of characters in Elden
It's like
Ring.
I loved like even back all the way back at the original Dark Souls. Like some of those bosses looked incredible. Like the gaping dragon, that shit looked rad. And, like,
Artorias the Abyss
did
Walker.
you ever see the gaping dragon?
in
it was-
what game?
Dark Souls?
The original Dark Souls.
No.
Did you ever see any images of the gaping dragon?
No.
It like crawls up out of a hole, but it's like a dragon that crawls around on its belly like a lizard, but then it'll like lean back and the entirety of its underside and like chest and abdomen are just like open and there's just teeth. Like,
Oh.
it's crazy.
One of my favorites is Artorias the Abyss Walker, just because his story is cool, and just his boss fight is
I
cool
just
and everything.
love the Lovecraftian creature design. It's
Oh,
so
if you want the
awesome.
Lovecraftian shit, go to Bloodborne. That's
love
where it's
Bloodborne.
like that's
I
like
love
where the
the-
most Lovecraftian
Yeah.
shit is.
The final boss of the first Dark Souls is Gwyn, Lord of Cinder.
Yeah.
And it's just like an older guy with just some sick armor and a crown. I think he was like a king. And he has long white hair and like it's flames everywhere. I want to say he has like a flaming beard. Like,
That's cool.
I like the Nameless King too.
Oh fuck! Yeah, I just remembered the second one. It's actually one guy. It's Edmund McMillan.
Oh.
He's known for Super Meat Boy and The Binding of Isaac. And
Hell
I
yeah.
just love The Binding of Isaac, dude.
Another developer I like is Larian.
Larian,
Larian.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate 3. And as much as
Todd Howard is
Beth-
seething.
Bethesda's made some stinkers, but they've also made some good games. And it's the older games.
What is the developer the developer that made Dishonored?
2K.
2K? Not that wasn't Bethesda.
No.
2K
they
is-
were
is-
involved. I think
they were
Bethesda was the
involved.
publisher.
They were the publisher, but 2K was the company.
Just like for
I get them
Doom.
confused.
If you remember,
Yes,
id
yes.
Software made the game. They're the developer, but Bethesda was the publisher.
Okay.
yeah,
Gotcha.
it's.
I get those mixed up.
I think that's the same with Wolfenstein. Is
Yes, I was about to say
they're
also,
published by Bethesda, but I don't think their company is Bethesda.
I'm sure they lend a hand, but
Yeah, but it's just Bethesda, man. Like Skyrim, Fallout, some
I was
glorified
gonna-
bangers.
mine would have to
Starfield.
be Bethesda.
Me and Adam were talking about this the other day. Is like there's a difference between a good game, a bad game, and a mid game.
Yeah.
If a game is mid, I think that's almost worse than being bad, because if it's bad, at least there's something that
redeemable.
there's something
Something
that you can
be
point out.
entertained by.
Yeah, and there's something you can point out, be like, I don't like this, but there's some aspects that are okay. But if it's just a game that's just
That's all bad.
yeah, like so Outer Worlds, that was made by Obsidian,
Yeah.
is like it's literally a simplified Starfield.
I heard that was good though.
It wasn't terrible. It
It's
was
like-
just very forgettable because
That's the
I
thing.
It's like Fallout New Vegas, but in space.
You will always remember great games. You will always remember horrible games. When it comes to mid games, it's just like it's just such a forgettable experience.
Jake,
it's just the most mid thing on the planet, and it's
I've played Outer Worlds 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
I still couldn't tell you what the story is about. Just that's how mid it is. Is the story is so so forgettable. that I've played it 3 times and I still don't know what the plot of the
This
game
is
is.
a sidebar, but 23 years ago, Spy Kids came out. Oh, think about that.
God damn it!
Fucking hell.
I can't think of a game like off the top of my head that's just mid and the story was forgettable, but there was something I liked about it.
That's the thing is mid games don't have anything that you really like. They're just kind of meh. They're just kind of meh.
Can't think of any recent games.
Because even games I hate, I found something I liked about them.
Oh, here's one. I haven't played it, but like Starfield. Ethan, you were very excited for
I was
Starfield.
pumped for
but you were
Starfield.
disappointed, were you not?
I passed the honeymoon phase. When
Yeah.
it came out like the first 2 weeks. I was like, yeah, okay, this game is just hot.
Yeah, I
stinky
remember
garbage.
when you first started it, you were like, "Man, this game's so cool," and then
And
after
then
a
I
couple of weeks, everything toned down to like, man.
Loading screen simulator.
The character customizations in it is great.
It's phenomenal.
But
I
that's
like
about
the
it.
story too. I just hate the gameplay.
What's up, Adam?
In the same vein of what Jake said, with just like a single guy who made some great games, there's another guy that named Lucas Pope. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. He made 2 really fun games. One of them was really popular on YouTube. It was Papers, Please.
Oh, I've heard of this one. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Papers, Please is a fun game, and he has that cool like retro, almost 8-bit kind of style. And the other game he made was Return of the Obra Dinn. I don't know if you've heard of that game.
I have heard
I
of
have
it.
not.
That game is basically you're like a ship just kind of like floats into port, a ship that's been missing, and it shows up and it's empty. Like there's nobody on board and
I
nobody knows
love
what
stuff
happened.
like that.
And your job is you're like an inspector, kind of detective kind of guy, and you have this basically magic stopwatch that lets you kind of find pieces of evidence and kind of go back and like see how the scene played out.
Ooh.
And your job is to figure out what happened to this ship.
That sounds pretty interesting.
And it has that same kind of style as Papers, Please. It has a very old school like CRT monitor.
What is Papers, Please? Because I've heard of it, but I don't remember anything about it.
Basically, you work the border between 2 fictional countries. The country you work for is called Arstotzka.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking
Glory
about.
to Arstotzka.
I know what
and
you're
you're
talking
just
about.
you have to screen people trying to cross the border and approve them or deny them based on evidence, and it gets harder, and there gets to be more aspects the further you go that you have to like double check and cross reference, and you have all this fucking paperwork that you're having to pull in and then put away, and the whole time you're trying to make enough money to keep your bills paid and keep your family alive. And there's a bunch of different endings based on what you do, but it's a fun game. But Return of the Obra Dinn is just like, it's so interesting. Like I know the whole story of what happened to the ship, and it's like crazy. It's awesome. That guy's rad.
Sorry, Ethan. Do you have a favorite game publisher or developer?
I'd have to say Bethesda, reluctantly.
Reluctantly.
But for why?
I will
Because of
say
Fallout.
Fallout. Yeah.
Fallout. Before we switch over, I do still have a lot of love for CD Projekt Red, even though they fumbled Cyberpunk at first. That wasn't their fault entirely. I do love, because I love The Witcher. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is one of my favorite games. I love that game. Kagan's told me that he's tried so hard to get into that game and just can't do it.
I've tried it 5
Even though
separate times.
He likes the look and he likes the kind of idea. He just can't get into
That's the
it.
thing. That's the same with me. I can acknowledge that it is a great game. I've heard great things about it, and I've tried playing it at least 3 times, but I cannot push through it. It's not that it's a bad game. It's just I
feel
It's just not vibing with
I
you.
feel it's paced too
and I hate
slowly.
that. I hate it because I like the gameplay. I liked playing it, but I just couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
into
For
it.
me, I feel like it's paced too slowly. And honestly, this might be an L take, but I think Geralt's kind of boring as a character.
I
He's
understand.
badass.
He's
yes,
he's supposed to be.
he's
It's kinda part of
badass.
his
Yes, because he's a Witcher, but he's also he's just a fucking block of wood in terms of like character. He's just kind of like, you should take a bath.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I will
That's
say
just,
though.
that's how Witchers are supposed to be.
I will say though, I didn't really vibe with The Witcher, but I loved Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk, fuck.
Once it was
Cyberpunk
fixed.
Yes, once it was. I played it whenever it had Phantom Liberty and all the updates, and it was
Cyberpunk
banger.
fucked
Yeah.
hard
It
ass.
was
It
a
was so
banger,
good, dude.
I loved it. And Ethan and Kagan talked it up for such a long time, and I played it, and I was like,
This shit.
I see
good.
This shit busting.
Yeah.
I
It's
love,
so good.
I still have to play it. I still need to play it. But
Goddamn.
I love games that launch in a pretty abysmal state and they're able to make a comeback. I love a comeback story when the developers just work hard and fix it,
Yeah.
and it becomes like a great game.
When I played Cyberpunk for the first time, I did a Quicksilver build.
That's badass.
Literally just super speed.
Sand Devastation.
Yeah.
I literally just went blades, and that was it. I ran nothing but blades, and I killed Adam Smasher in like 3 hits because I just had such an OP build, and now I don't really when I do builds in games, like I don't understand. They're like, "What's your build?" It's like I put perks into whatever I think would be nice.
Yeah.
I don't go for specific like Elden Ring. It's
I
like
just do it to enjoy it.
it's like people are like, "Well, I like using strength builds. I like using dexterity builds." It's like I just put points into what I think I need, and then I just run with it. I don't try to do specific builds. I'm just like, I need more health or stamina, so I just put points into that.
I need to deal more damage.
Yeah.
I just thought of something. This is kind of random, but I was watching some people talking about Helldivers 2, and I watched Bricky's video about it.
I don't know, Bricky.
He's a pretty entertaining guy. I don't watch him too often, but he was talking about Helldivers 2 and how much it kicks ass. But he was talking about how like you have people back before they kind of nerf some stuff. They're trying to make everything usable. There were people who like people who come into games and they mega optimize and like only the best builds you're allowed to run. It's like you're not running the fucking
Breaker,
auto cannon and the
shotgun.
breaker.
Well,
It's
that's
like,
why
get out of here, and they kick you,
Kick
and it's
you.
just like that's some bullshit.
that's why Arrowhead nerfed some weapons is because they
Yeah.
got tired of people getting kicked because they weren't using a meta build. It's like we want you to use a weapon because you like it.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I like the railgun because it would one-shot a lot of things.
But he was
like,
talking about it, and he was like, "Oh, you fucking mega optimization motherfuckers! You optimize this, optimize that. How about you optimize some bitches?" I can't remember what he said. I don't think that's what that was the gist of it, but it's just so good.
Yeah.
Optimize some bitches.
Hang on, I gotta find it. I can't remember.
My
what he
next
said.
question was gonna be, what is a game that infuriates you and makes you want to thunder cunt the fucking controller? I have one right off the bat.
But
and
Elden
is it
Ring.
like
I'm
you
gonna
want to
have to
just
think
get
about
rid of
that.
it, drop the game, never play it again, or it's like you
Yes.
can't stop
It's-
playing it even
no.
though you
Destiny
fucking hate it?
2.
It's just no. It's not a game that you come back to. It's one that you reluctantly play, whether it's at gatherings or someone recommends it, and you just have a seething rage every time you hear
Mario
about
Kart.
it. Mine was Overcooked.
Overcooked.
Fucking hate that game.
I like it as a game.
so I've
but
got
it
a
pisses
couple.
me
It's
off.
so goddamn hectic, dude.
I've got a
What's
couple.
Overcooked?
It's a game where you have to
Basically
it's a party
run a
game. You have
restaurant.
to run a restaurant and make certain food items, and then you have to. It's kind of like a restaurant tycoon. in a way.
Usually, you have 4 friends.
It
and
sounds
you
fun,
You
Ethan.
try to
It is
divvy up
not.
the work between everybody of like preparing the ingredients, cooking the food, doing the dishes, serving the food.
It gets hectic real quick though.
Yeah, it just gets more hectic as it goes, and you're trying to run a restaurant, and
gotta
keep
take-
customers satisfied.
take-
Friday night at Chili's.
14 beers at Chili's. Hell yeah.
It's a game for people who have never had the misfortune of working a food service job.
Yeah.
Every time I play that game, I get so frustrated. I get heated. I'm
If
like,
you
dude,
get
this is
heated with
fucking-
that game, don't go into the food business.
Yeah, I
Food service.
I got a
is not
couple
where
like
it's
that.
at.
It's not.
I got a couple games like that where it's like
Respect, mad ups to anybody who works a food service job right now.
Yeah.
You a real one.
the
Been
only
there,
reason
done
I
that.
On God.
these games, the only reason I played them is because my friends were playing them, and I just was like, okay, I'll play it. Rainbow Six Siege, I fucking despise that game.
I do too. That's a good one.
But my friends play, and they're like, "You're not even that bad at it." It's like that's not the. I just don't fucking like
don't
it. It's
like
just
it, yeah.
not fun.
Yeah.
It's the same thing over and over.
The
again.
only time I enjoyed it was the conversations I had with my friends on Xbox when I played it. Is we had some funny moments we talked about, but I don't really had a moment where I was like, "Man, I am loving this game. This is riveting." It's like you either spawn in and get killed as soon as you spawn in, or you kill the entire team. There's no in between. It's just like because there's been so many times where I've straight up spawned in, and there's a motherfucker who would there's people that would memorize spawn points.
Oh, yeah.
and they would just go.
They would camp.
They would just go to like there's this
A
there's this
specific window that could see where
there's
the
this
enemies
one
would come
there's
from.
this one area on the map one map where it's straight up you're just in a plane, like a giant plane,
I know that one. Yeah.
and one of the spawn points is like right by the front entrance, and there's people that would just go and break the door, and if you're defending, you're not supposed to go outside, and if you're outside, it'll let the enemy team know you're outside. They just go out there and wait for you to spawn. Then as soon as you'd spawn in you action phase, they would just shoot you in the face, so you
Yeah.
couldn't do anything. And it's like,
I remember
how is that fun?
on another map, there was a map it was a bank, and there was a specific window where you could see like where the team was coming from. Like they spawned, it wasn't direct line of sight like the plane,
Yeah.
but they spawn kind of around a corner.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as it got to action, they'd just like bust out one board of the window and just aim. And as soon as it got to action phase, people would come running from around the corner, and you could just fucking pop, 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 just
Yeah.
take out like 2 or 3 of them.
That
real
was-
quick.
Games just aren't fun.
That was one thing
for
I
me.
hated is like you could do
competitive
the- you
shooters,
could,
man.
You could
They're very
fucking
competitive.
press on the stick and you would move your gun to like look around corners.
It's like real life, bro.
And it's like they would punch the tiniest hole out of a wall, and they could just see literally a pixel of your character, and they'd shoot it, and you would die.
They-
It's like,
yeah, they
how the
pixel
fuck
peek.
did you see that? How did you
'Cause they-
see me?
They
Like, what
have
the
no
fuck?
life.
Like, dude, I try to look at them, and it's like I can see them right in front of me, and I'll still miss every single shot. And there's people like, oh, I see a pixel of his back.
Dude,
Yeah.
I love
And
playing.
it's like, you gotta
I
be
love
fucking kidding
playing
me.
games with you guys. I don't normally play online games. Like recently, Helldivers has been.
The game.
It's been the game, man, and you can only play that online, and it's been a blast playing
Yeah.
it with you guys. But whenever
But
we
it's
play
not
with,
like a competitive online
no,
game.
that's
though.
that's right.
It's a PVE.
And what I was gonna say is like with Kagan, he gets heated with. He plays primarily online games
Yeah.
with us, with other buddies, and when he gets heated, and it's just the funniest thing hearing him go off whenever the tiniest inconvenience happens.
Well,
Well, like,
dude,
dude, what
like-
the fuck? Why did that, dude? No.
Well, so like in Helldivers, for example,
What?
you know, you'll dive.
No.
You will dive out of the
No.
way of like an attack, and then your character will just stay on the ground, and you'll press B to get up, and then they'll get up and then just lay back down. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Stand the fuck up, or you are going to die. And then you get hit by the slowed, and you're just like, ugh.
I hate how acid slows you down.
Yeah, it's like, dude, move
It's fucking
your
irritating.
ass.
Yes.
What's up, Adam?
2 developers that I didn't mention earlier first one's not really, I love the developer because I haven't played too many other games, but I love a game series they made, Square Enix,
Oh yeah.
specifically because of Just Cause.
Oh, played a little bit of Just Cause.
I love
whenever,
Just
yeah.
Cause 2 and Just Cause 3. Those
I
games
like that you
kick
could blow
fucking
up. I
ass.
like that you could blow
Wait,
up
it's
bridges.
Just Cause?
Just cause. Just cause.
Just cause, it's a play on words. You're
Okay.
you're doing it just cause, but also you know you have a just because So those games kick ass. They're just destruction simulator.
Nice.
You have a fucking grappling hook, a wingsuit, and a parachute, and you can fly
played 'em.
around and
It's
blow
fun.
shit up. The game
Do
kicks
y'all,
ass.
do y'all
played two.
remember?
The other developer, if they fucking made games anymore, Valve.
Oh yeah.
I love Valve. I love almost everything they've made. Fucking Left 4 Dead, great series. Portal, great series. Half-Life, great series. Like, I just wish they fucking...
Portal's fun.
I just wish they'd fucking make games. Like,
Didn't they make a random patch for TF2 just out of the blue recently?
I think so, even though they said a long time ago that they weren't going to support TF2 anymore. I never played
Like they
TF2.
added
The foundation of
brand
TF2
new
is a
maps
JPEG
and
for a
all sorts of
coconut.
shit.
I never played... I never played TF2.
You
My
didn't know about
brother
that?
did for a time, but he didn't pick it up.
I just
didn't
kind
either.
of... Whenever I got into the hero shooters like that, I've mainly just gotten to Overwatch for a
Yeah.
while,
My
unfortunately.
brother
heavy
went
into the
feral
first
over
Overwatch.
Yeah, and then Overwatch 2 came out, and it's just a stinky hot doo-doo dog
I
shit
got
mess.
into
Doo-doo dog
Overwatch
shit.
specifically because my buddy, my roommate actually, fucking loved the game, and
Not because of the porn.
that too.
The porn's the only thing keeping it alive at this
But
point.
because he loved the game and he just wanted me to play it with him, I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I started first Overwatch pretty far into it, but I had fun with it. I didn't play it too often because competitive shooters, they're fun for a while and then you get pissed off and you have to leave. But
Do you remember your first girlfriend was
Yeah.
heavy into Overwatch, dude?
Oh,
She had
yeah.
an obsession with it. Holy shit.
Oh yeah.
so does my roommate.
She was like over level 700 something in that game.
Dude, my boy played competitive Overwatch all the time. He was like platinum. He was like a platinum tank, a platinum healer. Like
That was what she was. She was like, she had all like the golden weapons.
it was
It
insane.
was crazy.
I couldn't do it.
I have 3 golden weapons in Overwatch, by the way.
I enjoyed it.
I don't know where I got the credits for it, but I straight up logged into Overwatch 2, and they gave me enough credits to buy 3 golden guns.
Nice.
And I never played competitive. I'm just like
Maybe it was just a
a
I don't
bug.
know,
But I bought Junkrat's golden gun, because these are my 3 mains: Junkrat, Soldier, and Genji.
I've got an idea.
Those were my 3 main characters, and I fucked hard as Junkrat, dude. I went fucking feral with him. But then they nerfed the shit out of him. He used to be able to like 2-shot tracer because each grenade did 120 damage.
Yeah.
So dude, I would go ham, egg, and cheese on literally everyone, and then they nerfed his damage, and he's still viable. He's still very viable. It's just it's not as fun because you can't just 1-shot people now. And Jake used to be batshit crazy with Hanzo, man.
Yeah, I think I made Hanzo, Doomfist, and one other Orisa.
You were good with all three of those.
Doomfist was one of the characters that probably Doomfist and Tracer are two of the characters that have like the highest skill ceiling.
Yeah,
fucking
it was
hate fighting
fun,
tracers.
dude. It was really fun whenever you learned a character and you were
Yeah.
good with them. It was
Because like
satisfying.
Doomfist tech, like some fucking Doomfist players are absolutely just insane, like cracked. It's like nuts.
And that's another
until a
thing.
Sombra, until somebody plays Sombra, and it's just like, well,
never
it's
did
over.
play Overwatch.
That's another thing too, though, is like the gameplay and mechanics in Overwatch were fun. Every character and hero was different,
And it was pretty well balanced.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
You know, they had to be on top of it for a game like that. Like they had to
Yeah.
keep that shit balanced.
And Overwatch 2 just sucks. I
Yeah.
will say, I really like their new character, Ramantra. I think his concept is
He's
interesting.
pretty rad.
Um,
I will say, like I said, my roommate's fucking always obsessed with Overwatch for ever since I've known him. Now that Overwatch 2 released, he boycotted it for a while, and now he's reluctantly playing it again, even though he hates it. He just can't.
like a
He just,
love-hate
it just can't
thing.
get. It's like an addiction. He can't get its claws. They're deep.
I'm like that with Destiny. Like, dude, I don't even really like
Dude.
Destiny that much, but it's like me and my friend, my friend on
Ethan
Xbox.
needs to go off in a second.
Me and my friend on Xbox are too deep into it. That's like I can't quit now. I've invested too much.
addiction, yeah.
Well, it's like I've invested too much into this game, not financially, just time. It's like I've invested too much. I can't just give it up now. And they're releasing that last DLC that my friend and me and him game share. So I'm gonna play that DLC when it comes out because it's like might as well. It's like I can't quit now. There's
I've
too
at
much.
least dropped, I think, close to $800 into that game.
Damn.
I'm so glad I dropped it.
but like
$800,
dude.
bro.
Like
The content was always locked behind a fucking paywall.
That's the
awful.
biggest thing. It's
All
not.
the
It's not
time.
even pay to win content. It's
Okay.
just cosmetics.
It's cosmetic.
It's literally that game is pay to play. Like I've said before,
Yeah.
if you play the game, the free version, it's Destiny Light.
They don't even have the basic campaigns in the game anymore.
You have to pay for them.
No,
That's
no.
stupid.
They don't exist. They vaulted them.
Oh yeah, that's right. Whenever you first started Destiny 2, there was the Red War campaign.
Yes.
Where you fought against Dominus Gaul, and they fucking got rid of that and brought back the Destiny 1 campaign.
Have you seen the file size of Destiny 2?
No.
It's nuts. It's like
Okay.
the biggest game to download. Like it's fucking.
Yeah.
I gotta look it up.
It's like
The
200
DLC
gigabytes.
still exists in the game, but you don't have access to it.
Yeah. Or like so many areas that like in one of the fucking Tangled Web for the Forsaken DLC.
They vault
They
that
got
shit.
rid of
That's
that.
stuff that we paid for, and they take it away.
It's like why? And it's to make up space. It's like no, it's not.
No,
you can
it's
you
so
can.
you can shovel more shit into our faces.
It's like you can make it work. Don't
Yeah.
tell me you can't. That's a fucking.
if you
lie and a
want to
half.
do more quote unquote content, make a third one.
Yeah.
So and it got to a point. I feel like the reason that they took away a lot of stuff, like the original, what was it, the Red War?
The Red War.
Yeah.
They took away a lot of stuff because the file size was just getting so ridiculous that they had to cut stuff to make the game downloadable. Because it says Destiny 2 that installing it with all expansions, including Shadowkeep, would make the game take as much as 165 gigabytes.
That's about the average size of a Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
Call of Duty
Warzone.
Call of Duty is insane in terms of space. But what were you saying, Jake? Whenever he brought up the $800
I was gonna ask, how much did you pay?
on Destiny,
Yeah,
not $800. I know
'Cause I was
that.
about to say you still playing because you're like, oh, I'm too deep into it.
Yeah,
man.
but I don't-
Ethan, you let it. What?
I don't.
Okay.
How did you
I
spend
don't-
$800?
I don't spend money on it anymore.
It's
I've
Just
gotten
all,
to
was
the
it just
point-
all the expansions or?
Expansions, cosmetics, some of the expansions came with like
that?
legendary and like exotic gear that
That's
would just
like-
help
like,
gameplay.
Bro, I played CS:GO, and that game was like a literal make real money gambling simulator. Like you could invest so much, like you could literally make money off. Well, you used to, not anymore.
Yeah.
You could make money off of that game. And like one time, I bought a knife for like 70, 80 bucks. And
Yeah.
because knives, they're like one of the most valuable things in the game. And I turned around like a few months, if not a year later, and sold it for like 150 bucks. So I made a profit, and it was nice having that knife for a while. And then I was just like, well, let's see how the price is looking. And it had like doubled, and I was like, oh boy. So I put it on the market.
Did we talk about this where a guy made like $1 million.
No, I was talking about that
Or
when we were
something
on
on
the
Steam.
way to the hike. So there's this
Yeah.
guy that he that was his like source
Oh,
of
was his
income.
whole thing was
he
CS:GO.
would do CS:GO
Yeah.
thing with knives, and I don't know how much money. I don't think it was $1 million.
It was
He
a
had
lot of money,
He had
though.
a shit ton of money in his Steam wallet, and then they decided to make it to where you couldn't take the money out of your Steam wallet anymore.
Make it in like real money.
Yeah, so he literally had money they just couldn't access. So he got into his car and drove into oncoming traffic and killed himself and like a family of 4. Because it's like, oh my god.
Fuck.
Games.
I
should
feel like
never
for
be
that much
a
money, he could've-
money sinkhole.
I feel
dude.
like he could have
Yeah.
gotten a hold of Valve to get his money instead of just immediately
Killing himself.
ending it. Like,
But that,
Yeah.
yeah, games should
At-
never be
and
a
attempted
sinkhole
murder.
like that. A
It
financial sinkhole, never. It shouldn't be like that.
No, I
see,
know.
the reason that it worked for CS:GO was because it was a literal functioning economy. You could make money.
Yeah.
But yeah, ever
Yeah.
since
Most
they
things aren't like
made
that.
it restricted to Steam Wallet and you could not like pull out the money anymore once it was in your Steam Wallet, it was
It was so joker.
Dude, so in terms of financial sinkholes, dude, Overwatch 2 has got to be the biggest financial blunder in video game history. Dude, so they did a collab with Cowboy Bebop right now. Like that's one of their things.
Yeah.
And you know, it's cool that they're doing these anime collabs, but the skins look like such dog shit.
That was a big thing for the first game. Is that the loot boxes were? It was a gambling problem for
Yeah, dude.
kids.
I'm not proud of this, but there was one skin I wanted for Genji. It was the I think the new
Power Ranger one.
No, it was the Baihu one where he looks like a tiger and everything.
Oh yeah.
I think I have that skin.
I spent $40 in loot boxes just to get that skin, and I was not proud of it. And my mom found out; she was so fucking pissed.
Couldn't
I
you-
say,
couldn't you get
it's-
duplicates?
It
Yes.
sucks because it's like you don't need the skins, but you look at all these players with their cool skins, and you're like, man, I want some
You
skins.
give in.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Well,
feel
my
FOMO.
thing is, I'm a sucker for like cool cosmetics. So even if I don't play that character, if I see it, I'm like, ooh, I really kind of want that.
I will say, as you guys know, and I've probably mentioned, I'm a big zombies guy, and I have sunk money into Black Ops 3 Zombies to buy liquid divinium so that I could buy gobble gums. But
I don't think I've ever had a money sink like that in terms of.
I
games.
didn't spend too much.
You
Like I definitely
are
didn't spend hundreds.
Lucky.
I definitely never spent hundreds, but like
well, so
every now and
that's-
again, I just
I
buy a
ain't
whole
proud of
fuckload
that.
of
I'm
liquid
not
diviniums.
proud of it.
Yeah.
Well, so that's what I was gonna
I
bring
wanted
up.
gobble gums, man. I needed more immolation liquidations.
That's what I was gonna bring up with Overwatch is the pricing of stuff. So the Cowboy Bebop, one skin for this Cowboy Bebop collab is $25.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
For
Sounds right.
2 skins, you could buy Helldivers and still have $10 left over. It is ridiculous that you can spend $25 on a skin that barely looks like the skin.
Get the Super Citizen edition.
Still pisses me off to this day that they fucking had the gall to cut the whole PvE shit that they were planning for Overwatch 2, even though that was the main selling point
Well,
of Overwatch
and then
2.
but then it came out and it wasn't anything like people expected, and it sucked ass because I played a little bit of it because I think like the first PvE mission was free.
Yeah.
So I tried it and I'm like, this is boring as shit. Like on God, because you can only play as a select few characters. You can only play as a select few characters, and it was so fucking boring. I was waiting for it to be over, dude.
Yeah.
I was just like, because I wanted to get the rewards, but I also didn't want to keep playing it. So I literally just stood there until the mission was over. Because first 10 minutes in, I was like, dude, I'm done with this shit. It sucks so bad. It's so lame. And they realized that people didn't like it because it sucked ass. So they completely canceled it. And after people have already spent money on it, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing,
If you're
dude?
gonna do that, give a refund.
See,
Yeah.
they announced the PvE and like all the stuff that they announced and the stuff that they showed us looked so cool. Like it's like, everybody's always wanted to play Overwatch in a setting where it was a PvE setting with just your friends and just having fun.
Technical difficulties.
No,
bear
y'all
with
can
us.
keep going. I'll go look for it.
Okay. But people like always wanted like a version of Overwatch where they didn't have to do PvP and be competitive and all that shit.
Yeah.
And like they showed us this really cool proof of concept for playing with your friends in just like these set missions with the heroes and like just kind of seeing their interactions. And they even had like upgrade trees and like cool skills that you could upgrade and you could like maximize your efficiency with specific heroes and stuff. Like they literally showed like awesome skill trees and new like stuff you could do with them. Like Reinhardt, his ultimate at
Is
the
he
time.
the one with the big
the
hammer?
Yeah,
big
his
guy with a
ultimate at
hammer,
the
yeah.
time was Earth Shatter.
Yeah.
And he would, the whole hammer down, and he'd slam it, and anybody in front of it, as long as they didn't block it or avoid it, would get knocked over for a bit. They'd get stunned, and it was a good ultimate. And one of the paths that you could take, where he had a thing where he called a hammer strike, where you could you jump from a higher ledge and slam down, and instead of like being a fan in front of you, it would go in all directions, like a big circle
Like a big
around
splash.
you. Yeah, well, and it looked rad. And like Tracer had one where her ultimate is a time bomb or whatever, I forget. It's like a little bomb that you throw out and
Yeah.
stick it on one enemy, and it's basically an insta kill. It's just a free kill if you can land it. And she had an upgrade that would turn it into like a chain reaction, where you'd stick one enemy and it would like chain to like a bunch of ones around them and just like kill like 10 of them. And it looks so cool. Like all these cool skill upgrades and skill trees, like it looks so versatile.
Yeah.
And it's just
Why
gone.
did they
It
scrap
happened.
it?
Did not happen.
I forget the exact reasoning. I heard a few things, mainly just typical Activision Blizzard behavior. They wanted money, and they didn't think it would be as lucrative as being able to charge players for a bunch of shit in a PvP setting. Yeah, it's like EA made that whole thing that, players don't want a single play. What's the EA's CEO's name? The Australian guy.
I don't even
Players
know.
don't want a story-driven single-player experience anymore. They only want PvP and paying money.
They don't want good games.
They don't want good games.
They
They
wanna
want the
pay.
shit we've been giving them.
Yeah,
Even though
wanna
they
pay over
clearly
and over
don't.
again.
Like he said that in like a big thing.
I think these companies
That's
would
ridiculous,
listen
dude.
after losing millions of dollars.
It's
But
crazy.
no, and it's like
See, that's the thing is the reason they don't is because people keep playing their fucking games.
Yeah.
that's true.
It's like that's the reason Call of Duty fucking sucks dick these days. It's because they realize it's like, oh, we can pump out hot dog shit and people will still buy the game.
dude, that's another thing. Like
If you want companies to change, you have to not buy their shitty games. You have to quit rewarding them for making these bad decisions.
it's like companies that just decide not to release potentially really good shit because they don't think that there will be an audience for it. But
Or they don't think that they'll be able to make money.
yeah, that's insane.
Like almost nobody will
God.
launch a new IP these days because
That's true.
there's
sequels.
they're
Free to
too
play,
scared
free to
of the
play.
risk that
Yeah.
comes with launching a new IP,
Yeah.
and it's awful. It loops all back around to this complacency problem.
I feel like the video game economy is fucked.
It is. It's abysmal.
Hey, there's
But
some good ones
There is
out
some
there.
light
Yeah.
because this whole thing with this problem with AAA developers has really fueled the fire for the indie games community. Indie games and games made by independent developers and people who aren't associated with AAA have been popping off
They
because
have.
people are so tired
Yeah.
of the AAA bullshit.
Yeah,
and
it's,
I love
uh,
it. I love it
I
because
do
there's
too.
so much creativity.
The guy that made Lethal Company
Like one dude.
completely outplayed Activision
Yeah,
in like
so many games
sales
recently.
for his game.
Lethal Company.
'Cause it's good, it's
yeah,
fun.
A little while ago, that game Phasmophobia with the ghost hunting.
Yeah.
That guy is just one guy, and people liked the game so much that he got himself a little team, and he's been building the game up and adding new shit and expanding the
There
game.
is
That's
hope,
awesome.
my friends.
It's so good. I love it.
We
Just-
are not yet out of the fight.
It has allowed a resurgence, almost a renaissance in the indie games community.
Yeah,
It's a perfect
I've
way to
noticed
describe
that
it.
though. Like, there's barely any new IPs anymore. It's always sequels
Yeah.
or remakes.
And then in doing that, they kind of back themselves into a corner because they're like, "Fuck." Well, now it's like,
Yeah.
how do we make a new story that's interesting that doesn't fucking contradict shit or is good? Oh, I guess we'll go woke.
I am worried about that though, because sometimes the remakes really hit. Like the recent Dead Space remake
Yeah.
is fucking awesome, but they're remaking Silent Hill 2 and it looks bad.
Yeah.
I'm scared about that.
And the thing is, sequels can be a fucking fantastic thing.
Yeah.
Like, look at Helldivers. The first Helldivers was like a top-down shooter, and now it's a third-person shooter, and it kicks ass.
Yeah.
Like, not that the first one didn't. I never played the first one, so I
it
can't. speak
looks
on
interesting.
The
It just-
first one seems pretty fun, but I don't enjoy the top down.
I don't
it. Yeah,
either.
it's just like you can change the formula and still have a great game. You know,
Just
sequels are for innovation.
yeah.
Should be.
It's
I don't know. Nobody wants to innovate anymore. But I am.
But when
I
they
am
do,
happy. I am happy for the indie games community. 'Cause,
Yeah.
and also it allowed for a resurgence of because as the games industry progressed, we kind of got more and more advanced, and people stopped focusing on more, I guess, retro stuff.
Yeah.
In the indie game community, it's like you still have kick-ass side scrollers like Shovel Knight and Hollow Knight.
Shovel
and
Knight's badass.
Hollow Knight.
And Hollow Knight's also good. I haven't finished it, but it's good.
It's just like, it allows for them because, they're working with a limited budget and people, usually like one guy or like a handful of people. And so making a simpler game from like back in the day, like a side scroller or something like that, it's just like it's so much more feasible.
Yeah, but then you have like game studios like Larian. Is it Larian? Larian that makes Baldur's Gate 3 and sets a new standard for how games should be.
Bro, they literally almost bankrupted themselves in order to make this game perfect.
It paid off.
They did.
Paid off because that game fucking slaps.
They
It's so
said
fucking
they weren't
good.
making any DLC, but they're like adding updates to fix what's already.
Yeah.
Astarion turns Kayla on. She's been seeing a lot of TikToks recently about him, and she's like, "Why does he speak the way he does? It makes me feel things." And I'm like,
It makes me feel
And I
a
said, "Because he's a
certain way."
gay
Should
vampire."
have said me too, Kayla.
Because he's literally a gay vampire. Of course, he's got a sultry, sexy voice,
I
dude.
haven't played that game either.
You need to.
You and Ethan need to play it.
I've had a lot of things I need to buy and pay for, so it's
You
just
good,
like
Ethan?
investing in new games.
dude.
I think I'm done with the alcohol.
Why?
It punched me in the mouth.
It didn't say so.
Dude, I need some water. Drinking 2 cups of coffee has made my mouth fucking dry as shit.
Yeah, it's the bad mouthfeel, huh?
Yeah.
I had to pound a coffee or I wasn't going to make it.
So, do we want
I
to?
didn't even need coffee. I was just like, sounds good.
We just stick into video games this time around. I'm fine with that.
It could be a video game episode.
So another game, I bought Dragon's Dogma 2 recently.
Yeah.
Which people are, it's a very fun game. I'm enjoying it. I haven't gotten very far into it because I just bought it like 2 days ago, and I'm trying to balance life along with games. So I've been playing it in small intervals.
You just got Helldivers.
Yeah.
You just got Helldivers.
But I've played Helldivers. I've done all
Play
that
it
needs
more.
to be
Play
done.
it no.
In terms, let me
No,
finish.
we still have a war to fight, soldier.
Let me run back what I'm saying is I have played it enough that I know what I'm doing.
So it's treason then.
Fuck off. Okay. Ethan.
Please continue.
Okay. I was gonna say I've played enough that I know what I'm doing, and like when I hop back into it, I know what to do. I'm familiar with it. With this, Dragon's Dogma is like you can tell it's a big game. Just like looking at the map, and I feel like it's gonna be like an Elden Ring thing. Where like, oh well, this is the full map, and then it just keeps going, and you're like, Jesus Christ, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Caelid is 1/16 of the map in fucking Elden Ring. What
That's
if
what
it's
she
like
said.
that in fucking this? And it's like. One of my favorite aspects about Dragon's Dogma
Okay.
2.
That's what she said. Jesus Christ, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
But one of the things I like about Dragon's Dogma 2 is
that was a good wheeze.
there's a big environmental thing where you can use the environment and like
I saw one guy pick up a boulder and kill a bird.
no, you can do that. There's an ability where you can climb onto bosses and you can hit them while you're on top of them. So I was fighting a troll. I climbed up on him and I was just impaling him in the back. And it wasn't doing a whole lot of damage, but I was stabbing him while my pawns were fucking him up. And then he threw me off by a dam of rocks. And I found an explosive barrel and I was like, and I saw water leaking through the rocks. And I'm like, I was like, and I threw it at it, and it literally caused the water to wash away the fucking troll. Like he fucking fucking swept
cool.
away, and he lost his
cool.
weapon, and he was on the ground unconscious. And I was like, okay, let's gang up on him and hit him till he dies. And that's what we did. And
What do you have it on?
it's on Xbox. And the reason I'm saying this, if you decide to get it, do not get it on PC. It does not run on PC
Is
apparently.
it on PlayStation?
Yes. It runs on console, but I think on console it's capped at like 30 frames, which that doesn't bother me.
I don't really care much about frames.
Yeah, people are like, "Oh, if my game doesn't run at 120 FPS, I can't play it." It's
You
like,
don't have a NASA computer either, do you?
no.
So it
It's
doesn't
just a
matter.
computer.
My PC's good, but I wouldn't say it's like top of the line, but it runs what I need it to run.
Gagan, it's a top tier PC.
I don't think it is. It's
Top tier.
okay. I think Adam probably has the best PC out of all of us.
sarcastic.
With
but-
the recent
Yeah.
upgrades, yeah, probably.
But
It's pretty fancy.
mine does what it needs to do. But like Moist Critical he was like it's unplayable because he streamed it and he tried to play it like 20 different times, and in total he only got to play a total of 15 minutes of it because it kept crashing. It won't run on PC without crashing.
I'm sure they'll fix it.
I'm sure they will, but it's like he was so fucking hyped for it, and he was so disappointed because every time he tried to play it, he couldn't even get past the character customization without the game crashing. But like
It's unfortunate.
on the console, yeah, there's moments where things don't perfectly render.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm not one of those people that looks deep into detail, so that doesn't really bother me. As long as I can play the game, it's like, so what if shit's not fully rendered? It'll do that in a minute. It doesn't need
Pop
to be,
in.
oh, this game doesn't run and fully render. It's unplayable. It's like, bitch, I grew up playing Skyrim. Do you think that bothers me?
I
Like,
thought
say,
that shit was realistic when it came out.
yeah.
I deeply love the game Subnautica, but that's a big problem in Subnautica is as you're traveling, there's a lot of pop in. Like there's a lot of loading and pop in that you can see.
Yeah.
That was my
It
issue.
kind
with
of takes you out
Baldur's
of it for
Gate.
a split second.
That was my issue with Baldur's Gate. Is me and Jake would go into a big area, and it would just be every NPC and shop would be floating, and the ground wouldn't have rendered yet. So it was literally just nothing but NPCs just kind of floating in the air.
The void.
And I couldn't see like where I was going, so I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna run into a wall or what because nothing had spawned in yet. So I'd have to wait like 2-3 minutes just for everything to properly render. It was just Dragon's Dogma has that problem, but it's really fun. I enjoy the shit of it, and Jake, I think you would like it too.
Probably would.
It seems like something you would enjoy.
I
Definitely give it a watch before you decide. But I watched it and I'm like, okay, this is something that looks.
It sounds like
interesting.
it's like a mixture of Elden Ring and like Tears of the Kingdom.
Well, so it's made by Capcom, so it does give me Souls-like vibes in terms of like, I don't know, just the art style and everything.
Yeah.
But it doesn't play like you get hit by a goblin and half your health is gone. Like,
Fair.
like they hurt, but they aren't gonna like kill you in 3 hits, kind of thing. It feels enjoyable.
Adam,
Yeah.
another thing to add to your question, like favorite game developers, I really like Nintendo.
Oh yeah,
I'm a Nintendo kid.
Nintendo. They're like one of the few
What?
big.
Jeff, you fucking.
They're one of the few.
You.
What?
You.
What?
Nintendo. Nintendo
You.
is a shitty corporation.
Okay,
They're
but
not.
like their games.
Yes, they are.
No, they aren't.
Yes, they are. Not game wise, just in terms of like
Oh, I thought you were talking game wise.
No,
their
no,
game
they make
catalog is
ethical
insane.
morals?
ethical
Yeah,
morals.
yeah.
They are shit. No, game wise, they make some great games, but
It
if
doesn't justify
God,
their immorality.
God forbid you do anything with their licensing, or else they will.
They will
They
fuck
will
you.
Find you
There
and
was
they will
one
kill
dude-
you.
I personally don't care too much about that.
Well, no. So there was one dude. I think he was leaking stuff from Nintendo, and they basically said you have to pay us $500 million or something like that.
I mean,
It's like
dude
those
probably
memes.
signed a thing.
Like Nintendo demolishing an Italian orphanage.
I mean, I
because
can
there was a kid
understand
there.
Well,
that.
no,
if
so
it's like
He
a
probably
non-disclosure
signed, he probably
act.
Signed like an
I think
NDA or
I think he
something.
was either selling software or something. Well, he didn't even work for
That's
Nintendo.
illegal, man.
Well, he didn't even work for Nintendo.
Very
he was doing
illegal.
something. He was doing something like that. I don't think it was that intense. It was something involving Nintendo, but I don't think it was intense enough for the punishment that they gave him. Because they basically made him. The end result, he basically became an indentured servant to Nintendo for the rest of his life.
Nintendo is notorious for protecting their
Nintendo
IPs.
is as hardcore with their IPs as Disney.
I think it
Yes.
was like $1
If not
million.
more.
Yes.
I think, which is still a lot, but
Yeah.
they basically he didn't have enough money to do that. So they're like, okay, how about every paycheck you get, you have to give to us for the rest of your life. So he is basically Nintendo's little bitch until he dies. Like,
So I say Nintendo.
Family-friendly company.
See, there's a difference. Nintendo, like, yes, it's hardcore and brutal and kind of shitty, but they have every right to
well,
do
they
it.
do, but I feel like it's a little intense
Unlike-
sometimes. It's like you don't need to go that hard in the paint
But
with
they're
it.
like a
Unlike a
multi-million-dollar
situation-
company, and like leaking anything like that, it's like that's
Okay, but God forbid someone uses Mario in something
Listen,
without their
but
permission.
that's how
they're-
IPs work.
Listen,
Okay.
Nintendo demolishing Italian orphanages because there were kids named Luigi there.
That's not real.
I know, but
But they'll send Pinkertons after you.
they will. But
Oh, yeah, that
with
happened.
Nintendo, it doesn't irk me nearly as much as some of the shit that Activision Blizzard's done in the same vein. Like whenever they went with World of Warcraft, whenever they kept updating it, and people really just wanted an original, like classic WoW experience.
Yeah.
And so people started making servers that had those editions of World of Warcraft, like Nostalrius, and I can't think of any of the other ones. Nostalrius was the biggest one, and it was really popular. And eventually, you know, they kind of left it alone for a while, and then eventually Blizzard was like, "Oh, I just realized we aren't making money off this. Shut it down," and hit them with a cease and desist. And It was it was something else. And then they did come out with Classic WoW, but you know, that seems more shitty to me than Nintendo just, you know, protecting their IPs with a fucking hammer and sickle, you know.
I feel like if there was a demand for that, and I was the owner of said company that didn't have that in their, game catalog or whatever,
Yeah.
I feel like I would hire the people that were making the game.
Some
Originally, they
people do
thought
that.
that's what they were gonna do, but they just didn't.
Yeah, I
And it
would
was
bring
like
them
there
into
was
the
a.
team.
Have you seen the interview, like the panel they had at like some big gaming thing with Blizzard, where the CEO they asked him, is like, have you ever thought about bringing back like older editions of WoW? And he was like, no.
No.
And you don't want to do that. You think you do, but you don't. That's what he said.
What?
Or like
Their whole reasoning is like, yeah, you remember back in that version where there was this bug that was super annoying? Well, if we gave you that older version, that bug would be there. Remember, we fixed that. We fixed that, and that bug would still be there.
or what was Nintendo's thing about like old games in the Nintendo shop or whatever?
Oh my god, dude.
Jake, you know more about
Yeah,
this than I
yeah.
do, so
But,
you go ahead.
So
Before we get into that,
yeah.
I'm just gonna say yes, Nintendo, great, because they're like one of the only AAA developers that are still innovating instead of just being complacent. They're
with
still
every-
just making like new. They're just trying to keep innovating the formula.
and
but-
it's not even with software, like with games. It's also like with every console they innovate.
They're
They-
like how Valve
they're very
used to be.
they're very creative when it comes
It's
to
like Valve was like, we will not release a game unless it is groundbreaking. That's how they used to be. And now they're just like, oh, we're making so much money off Steam, we don't have to make games.
well, so like
So I love Nintendo, but I hate how stingy they are sometimes because with their old game catalog, like NES games, SNES games, Nintendo 64 games, GameCube games, all that stuff. You could play those. You could buy them individually on their older consoles like the Wii or DS, 3DS, that kind of ecosystem. But nowadays on the Switch, they shut down the virtual console games on all the older consoles, so you can't buy them anymore. If you bought them, they're yours forever. You can keep them. That's fine, but you can't go back and buy them on anything else.
I have noticed that's one thing that sucks about Nintendo.
And what they did for the Switch is they made it an online service, a subscription service. So you pay them monthly to play their catalog of games, which may or may not have the game you're looking for in the catalog. So they just
do
really,
you at least get to see what's in the catalog before you pay?
no,
think-
you have to you just
I
have to
think
find
you
out.
do. I think you
It's
do.
like imagine it's like, oh yeah, this catalog, it has like 600 games. You better hope the one you're looking for is in there.
Exactly. And dude, for like 3 or 4 years, they would drip feed. They would drip feed games to the audience. It'd be like 2 or 3 NES games every 2 months. It was crazy.
Or like there were certain games that that people wanted them to bring that were older games to the shop, and Nintendo's like, we do not plan to release any of these games at this time. They're like, but we're willing to pay for them. We will pay for them. And then
and Nintendo just went, "Nah."
they're like, nah. And then it's like, okay, then we're gonna pirate them. And they're like, well, you can't do that.
No, don't like
Watch
that.
me.
They're like, well, no, that you can't do that.
Well,
And they're
so-
like, okay, then release them to the shop. And there's like, no.
I can also
It's like, why?
Then fucking deal with the piracy.
It's like, why? Why do you got to be that way? Just let me play the game I want to fucking play. Let me play Mario Nintendo 64. That's all I want to play.
Super Mario 64.
Yeah. Yeah, Super Mario 64.
But
Whatever, dude.
I can
Play that on
say,
a Chromebook now.
like, yes, the stinginess can suck, but at the same time, I have some semblance of respect for Nintendo for just kind of doing whatever the fuck they want and just
No,
being
they
like-
can. They can get away with pretty much everything.
Yeah, it's just like we're gonna do what we want.
Well,
and that's
and-
it. I respect that. I do to
I
an
love
extent.
how they can get away with releasing the
And-
same damn Pokemon game for four
That's
years in
the
a row.
most annoying part
It
about
is
it.
And
awful.
yes, they
no
make-
innovation. They'll innovate on everything else.
Just
But
not
like their biggest franchise. Nah, it's fine.
They make great games and they make very interesting consoles. Like, I think I'm not a big Nintendo guy, but I think the Switch is an insane concept for a game.
It is.
It's a handheld that can turn into like
hybrid,
a
yeah.
they can turn into like something you can mount to your TV. I think that's badass. But I think yes, they're your fucking IPs and you have the right to say that. But they're so fucking stingy with it. It's like, even if you want to pay for it, even if you'd be willing to pay for it, we're still not going to do it because we don't want to.
And even with like the Nintendo Selects for like the Wii or the
Hell, I
Wii U
think
or
if they
anything,
hear about this, they're going to take this video down because we're
Those-
mentioning their company.
those were $20
point.
games. Those were
I
$20
don't think they
games.
actually will.
Yeah,
No.
it's fun. We're not like
They'll send Pinkertons after us.
yeah. We're,
You're a one man, Mr. Morgan,
say, I
with
lo- I
$5,000
love-
on your head alone.
$5,000.
Gonna turn myself in.
I will say I do love PC because in Minecraft I can just download an emulator and play whatever I want. But in Minecraft I've never actually done that.
So in Minecraft, Adam, that is definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Minecraft.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, like the Nintendo Selects,
Yeah,
they would take
download an
older games
emulator
and sell them for $20.
Get the raw files
Great
and
price.
just-
On the Switch, they re-released the same games that
most
were
of them work.
Nintendo Selects
Yeah.
for $60. What?
Yeah, dude. It's like, yeah. So on one hand, you got to think about it. Like, yes, they spent millions of dollars making this game, and the fact that we get it for $60 is crazy. But it's like, I don't want to pay $60 for this fucking.
That's another thing though.
hot
What
dog shit.
That's another thing. What Adam was saying, they can literally do whatever the fuck they want because they know we'll buy it.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this Pokemon game is the exact same as the last one, but it's got Pokemon in it.
Yes,
Jingle,
yes.
jingle, jingle keys.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
No,
A
I
lot-
wasn't
a
going
lot
to
of
say
these
anything. I was
companies-
just agreeing with you.
Oh yeah.
What was I say?
You seem tired, Ethan.
Another great game that I love dearly is Kagan made me think of it because of the
Yes.
whole because of in Dragon's Dogma 2 where you can like climb on enemies and attack them. It made me think of Shadow of the Colossus.
I knew you were gonna say that. I don't know how. Just
I
Is that
love-
the one where you fight the big robots or
Yeah,
whatever?
no,
Big-
no,
that's
that's
just giant.
You said that. Okay, that was Horizon. You said the same thing on the first media episode.
I did?
You got it confused.
Yeah.
The same thing. Yeah, no, we're
No,
talking
whoops.
about we're talking about
Shadow of the Colossus. Is just it's a very artistic game. It's very
awesome.
strange.
My
It's like
mistake.
you just show up in like these
Deja
foreign
vu.
lands and you kind of your character you show up
Smoke
with
monkeys.
this woman who's asleep and you don't know any of the context. None of the characters really talk
Yeah.
until the end, and when they do, they speak a foreign language. But the whole premise of the game is you bring this woman to like what are cursed lands that you're not supposed to go to, and there are these 16. I think the plural of Colossus is colossi.
Yeah.
There are these 16 colossi around the map that you have to go and track down and slay, and it's I don't know. It's a very interesting game, very fun.
Yeah, like we said last time, the world is empty, but as soon as you go into these environments where the creatures are, it's pretty fucking cool, dude.
And the world is the thing is the world is empty, but it's supposed to be that way. It's like it feels like a lifeless void because it's like these cursed lands. It's crazy.
very
It's a
ominous.
very lonely and
Yeah.
ominous game.
Yeah.
It's a good game though. And then
I agree.
there was another game I was going to bring up. Since we're talking about games from the past, from like old consoles, I played a lot of the original PlayStation and PlayStation 2. On the original PlayStation, I played a lot of Spyro, if you know that game.
Ooh, Spyro.
I love Spyro. And then on the PlayStation 2, I had a lot of games. One of the ones that came to mind, did you ever play the game Time Splitters?
I did not.
No.
The one I played was Time Splitters 2, Future Perfect.
No, I've never
That game
heard
was
of that.
fun as shit. And in Minecraft, I got an emulator to play it on my computer. But
In Minecraft.
rad. But yeah, I played the shit out of that game. I had a lot of games. I'm trying to remember some of the games from my PlayStation 2 that I just played all the time. The original Lego Batman.
Dude, I remember my brother. I never had a PlayStation.
Lego Batman.
I'm gonna get some water,
Fuck.
boys. I'm
Alright.
parched.
I never had a PlayStation until the PlayStation 5, but my brother had a PlayStation 2, and I remember playing a lot of games on that, like Star Wars Battlefront.
Yes, I loved Star Wars
I remember
Battlefront.
playing.
I have that version. They have it on
Watch
Steam.
those wrist rockets.
I have it. I have it on Steam.
Yeah.
I love that. I remember playing a Hulk game that was really fun. You just destroy the whole fucking city. It was pretty cool, dude.
I think I remember that game, but on the PlayStation 2, I had a game. It was a Jaws game. It was called Jaws Unleashed.
Oh yeah,
And it was like an open world where you play as the shark.
Yes.
And you swim around, you eat people, and you sink boats and
Yeah.
eat animals, and it's so fun.
I remember playing Ultimate Spider-Man on the PlayStation 2 as well, and that was fun. If you guys ever played Spider-Man Friend or Foe,
No.
oh my god, it was so fun, dude. But the first player was always very limited because you could be Red Spider-Man or Black Spider-Man, and then second player could be literally fucking anybody except for Spider-Man. You could be Venom, you could be all of his rogues gallery. It was badass. You and a buddy would play it. It was so fun, dude.
Man.
It was awesome. But I didn't grow up with a PlayStation, but
I
felt
didn't
as
either.
soon as I played it, I felt nostalgic for it. I was like,
Yeah.
I did.
damn, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with
That
you. I
PlayStation-
wish my parents never got me an Xbox.
Why?
You wish you had a PlayStation?
No,
Oh, okay.
I wish I didn't. I never got into gaming at all
Really?
Why?
because it turned into a very unhealthy addiction.
That's fair. As I say,
Yeah.
That's all I want to do after work.
I love gaming. I do.
But
I-
that's the
I have
way-
a vehement love for video games.
That's the way you relax. That's the way you blow off steam. I mean,
Yeah, but then you just immerse yourself in this world that doesn't exist, and you wish it did exist.
hey,
Well, that's the point.
sometimes it's
Video
better.
games are supposed to be a temporary escape from reality.
Temporary.
Yeah.
See, it's not temporary for me anymore.
Fair.
It's every day.
I've noticed recently that I constantly think about fictional universes and worlds.
I do too.
Like I've had a recent, just based on all of our talking about it, I've really just been thinking about and like watching scenes from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
I love that show so much.
Speaking of shows, I just finished BoJack Horseman last night. And
Epic.
Have you guys heard of BoJack Horseman?
I have.
Yeah.
It's
My roommate loves that show.
It is so
Rehab was supposed to be a fresh beginning.
fucking good.
I will say, I was showing you
It
a
is so
video
good.
earlier from Drew Gooden.
Yeah.
He has a really good video about BoJack Horseman. That's one of his favorite shows ever. I'd recommend watching his video. It's good.
Dude, it's one of my favorite shows ever now. It is
Or it might
genuinely
be
great.
It might be a video about multiple shows, but it has a pretty big segment about BoJack.
One of my favorite quotes. It has so many good quotes, but a quote from the last episode was,
Shit, blood, and cum on my hands.
it was not that. I think the quote was, fuck, what was it? It was, sometimes life is shit and then you die, and then another character said, well, sometimes life is shit and then you live. And I was like, that's
Damn.
fucking
That hit
true,
hard
dude.
as fuck.
I was like, oh, that show made me tear up quite a few times, actually. I love that show, dude.
I've heard it's like a really good and it's funny, but
Deep
it's
as
also like
fuck,
sad.
dude. Yeah, I mean, the humor was
A
hit or miss for me.
kaleidoscope. What do you think I am? 5 shapes and colors,
Yes.
likes of which I've never seen.
Yes, I love that. I think my favorite character was BoJack. It was so good, and
I'd hope
I
so.
love
He's
that.
the main character.
Dude, I love that Aaron Paul plays the comedic relief character because he played such a taxing role in Breaking Bad
as
Jesse.
Mr.
Who does he
Penguin.
play? Does he
he
play
plays Todd.
the dude with the blue hair or whatever?
Yeah,
His
Todd,
roommate?
Todd Chavez.
Damn, I never.
Yeah.
I only watched a little bit of it, but I never noticed that
Yeah,
was.
and he plays the exact opposite character of Jesse. 'Cause
Yeah.
Jesse was so
Like, serious and
he was so fucking
Druggy.
Yeah, and he was like he went through so much trauma. And Todd, his character in BoJack Horseman, is the exact opposite. He's just
just a character
full of
that's
whimsy. He reminds me
nothing
of
but
Alston.
levity.
Yeah, he reminds
Childlike
me of Alston,
wonder.
honestly. Yeah, but I loved it. I'll talk about it more on another episode, but I loved it a lot.
I've heard BoJack Horseman gets really fucking depressing.
Oh
does,
yeah,
for sure.
it does. But I love it.
When I had
You know,
TikTok,
that's right
there
up
was-
Jake's alley.
It really is.
Like that one girl that he like that was in the show with him or for whatever.
Sarah Lynn,
Yeah, and she fucking dies or whatever in the movie theater with him
you gonna make me tear up.
while they're watching
Yeah.
some movie or something. I was like, damn.
That shit.
Spoilers.
God, yeah, I don't want to. Obviously, spoiler alert on all of these media episodes.
Fuck you. It's been out a while.
It has. I think it
Yeah.
ended in 2020 or something like that. But that shit hit hard, dude. God.
Man, I see. I really, really want to talk about Attack on Titan, but that's a rabbit hole that I would just spiral into.
Okay, so I this will be episode
8.
n-
No.
No, this will be 10.
10, yeah.
This will be 10. By
10
the time it
episodes.
comes
That's a
out.
double
milestone.
digits.
By the time it comes out. And I think it's time that we could ask audiences like what they would like to hear, you know?
Yeah.
I think we had an idea to do some one-on-one episodes, so it'd be like Kagan and Ethan or Adam and I.
Just
Yeah.
talking about
And-
specific interests that maybe not all of us shared, but at least
Yeah.
2 of us did.
We'll try it out. We definitely want
'Cause,
to know
like,
what you guys think.
Like you and me are really into Attack on Titan. These two not really, and they're really into Fallout. You and me
So
not
that'll be-
really.
yeah.
Like
When that Fallout show comes out, I'm going to be so fucking hyper fixated on it.
oh, golly gosh, gee willikers.
More than I already am.
Yeah.
Dude,
Because I have dissected the trailer over 100 times.
Do you have any theories or?
I have so many theories, but we'll save it for the Fallout episode.
I was about to say, if y'all are going to do that, me and Jake will talk about Attack on Titan at the same time. The viewers will have to listen to two different conversations about
So
two
Ethan,
different
what's your
shows.
favorite thing about it?
So,
season
Nuclear
two,
fallout.
Season two.
The
Season two
government
has one of my favorite
collapsing.
Feral
finales.
ghouls, super
12
mutants, the
episodes.
master,
That shit kicks
It only
ass.
has 12.
Brotherhood of
12
Steel.
episodes.
God.
The shortest episode.
Shut the fuck
of
up,
the
everyone.
season. The shortest season.
I'm
You
overstimulated.
know, all the other seasons have like 20 episodes. This one only has 12. They stopped talking. Why? We had
we're done.
We had
'Cause
a
it was
thing
fucking
going, you stupid
chaos.
son
It
of a
was
bitch.
chaos.
We just lost all of our viewers.
We did. Well,
No.
boys, you got anything else to talk about?
How long have we been going for?
Yeah.
That-
A
Is that a
while.
good yeah?
Oh, we've been
that's not
going on
bad.
for a while. We've been really working
This
up
one's
a
really flown by.
appetite.
Yeah.
This the one that we worked on last week is our longest one yet.
Like 2
It's
hours.
2 hours.
New high score. Keep going.
The episode. I'm excited for the episode we're recording tomorrow.
Which you will know soon.
When it's released.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mystery.
Or the clip is teased.
yeah. You're gonna see it at the same interval that you normally do. We're recording it in advance because
Yes.
we're kind of doing a little bit of I wouldn't say a rebranding, just
We're
kind
doing
of
a rework.
a little bit of a rework.
Rebuilding ourselves.
Yeah.
Trying to think if there's any more media I want to talk about.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to cut it.
Halo.
Oh, yeah, a little bit of
that'll be
Halo.
another one. That'll have
Fuck.
to be another
I
one.
did well. So there was two little things that I little tidbits of lore I wanted to discuss with y'all because I just thought they were goofy.
Okay.
So one is that how elites eat their food.
I've heard this.
Yeah. So literally, how they eat their food is, they don't have the bottom of a mouth.
Yeah.
So they literally just tear their food apart by hand and then just kind of swallow it whole,
They shove it down their throats.
and then just kind of swallow it whole. And the second thing is, elites aren't allowed to know who their father is, but they're allowed to know who their mother is.
They're
Their
not.
nut mother.
Yeah, they're allowed to know who their mother is, but not their father. But it's like that's kind of stupid because elites are only allowed to marry and be with one other elite.
Are you
Based.
my dad?
So it's like you can just go to your mom and be like, "Mom, is your husband my dad?" And then be like, "Yeah." I'm like, okay, problem solved. It's like
Treason.
and it's like, why? Like they say it's to avoid nepotism, so they just are raised. The children are raised in groups, and they called like the lead guy uncle, which was weird. It's like,
Their whole species
oh
is
yes,
nepotism.
Uncle Vadam is
Yeah,
here
they
to.
have family households and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're very
That's
inspired
so
by the Japanese.
Funny,
The Sing
dude.
Healy are
Imagine-
very interesting.
Imagining
are.
a Sang Healy just coming home in a suit and tie after a long day of work.
I would.
Hanging
I
up
was
his-
always
hanging up his energy sword on
Yeah.
the coat rack.
It's been a long day, Martha.
Yeah, I was always wondering about that. If the Sing Healy would integrate into human society after the Human Covenant War,
Probably not.
I feel like
How
they
the
just kind of,
because
Fuck.
humans did with the Sing Healy, right?
to an extent, I feel like they just kind of went back to their home worlds and they were on friendly terms. You know?
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what's a funny thought experiment?
What?
How a Sang Healy would put on pants. They'd have to be like they'd have to
Zigzag.
fucking- it'd be like a
Or they
jigsaw
need to have
puzzle
the
getting
big
their pants
fucking
on.
zippers on the side of them,
You know
so
what would
they
be
can.
a really funny thought experiment?
No.
How Sangheelys can give head.
Fuck.
Are they a throat goat? 'Cause they'll, like, goddess throat.
Work.
Hang on, which
Is
elite,
this because of reach?
which elite sound do you think they make when they come? You think they?
I read somewhere that elites have 7 dicks.
That's rad.
What?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think it's true,
My
but-
question is: it like sideways? Is it like vertical or horizontal?
I think it's like a
It's like a bundle.
row.
Ni-
like
a nice
circle
bouquet
of
of
so.
dicks.
So the female Sangheili have 7 pussies?
No,
that
it's
they
all
just-
one.
Kagan?
It all goes into one.
Kagan? I have a perfect response.
What?
8 legs,
Seven
7 vaginas.
Oh my god! Jesus Christ! Fuck.
7 vaginas.
8 legs, 7 vaginas.
But if there's that doesn't make sense. If there's 8 legs, wouldn't there be 4 vaginas?
8 legs. No, 7 vaginas.
7.
Are you sure?
Seven.
There's 7 gaps between the legs.
They're a perfect match.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about it too
You
much.
you got to think of it as like a crossover. You have these two, and then you add this one, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one. There's a vagina between each.
Yeah, I was thinking about it too much.
Yeah, a vagina. Sorry, I misspoke.
Thank you, Adam.
I misspoke.
A vagina.
Vaginas. Goddamn.
Alrighty, fellas.
I think elites would lay eggs. I feel like they lay
Can't
eggs.
just keep
No.
going on these side tangents.
That's
I feel like they do
cursed.
too.
Come on, dude.
I'm
That's
sorry.
cursed.
I started thinking about it.
I think
It's-
hunters reproduce through mitosis.
I can cut it here, and then we just start an entirely new episode.
Did you say
No.
mitosis?
Yeah.
No, I think
feel
we
like the
can
worms
call
just
it.
split
The
into two
Lungoli
worms.
Just like
worms?
tired.
Yeah, I feel like they just
shit.
split.
We're just like, nah.
No, I think we can. I think we can call it here, dude.
Yeah.
I think I'm done talking for tonight.
Well,
Yeah,
fuck
I'm getting
you
a
too,
little
buddy.
EP.
I didn't want to talk to you either.
Yeah, this has been a shit conversation, and thank you for wasting my time.
I'm ready.
Exactly.
I'm ready to go
I
do a
have
honk
been losing
schnoo.
brain cells this whole time.
I'm ready to go do a honk schnoo. Honk schnoo. Honk
No.
schnoo.
Are you a bit of a honk snoozer?
I'm a bit of a honk schnoozer.
Like the
I've had
honk,
2
honk,
brain
honk.
cells my whole life.
All right,
Share.
Adam, do you wanna get us out of here?
I'm leaving.
Take us with you.
All right. Well, that was a fun talk about more media that we enjoy, mainly video games. We kind of
Mostly
branched
brain
out.
rot.
Yeah, we kind of branched out a little bit at the end, but it was a nice video game talk about, games we like, studios we like, and kind of practices and common, trends in the
Yeah.
gaming industry. I enjoyed that one. It really it really flew by. It didn't feel like we've been recording for this long.
No.
So
It really didn't.
No,
I guess
we've just been chilling. We were just kind of. I went into this thinking, "Fuck, I don't know what I'm gonna talk about," and it's like, I guess we'll just start talking and see where
I
it
just want
takes
to
us.
preface that's how every single episode of ours
Yeah.
starts. We have no idea what we're doing. It just happens.
happens.
Well, unless
Yeah.
we do research for a
No,
topic.
no, no, no,
but
no,
if-
no, 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 no. We don't know what we're doing. Ever.
honestly, the things
Okay.
we're doing, kind of
Yeah.
hard to explain. Not gonna lie.
He said the thing.
Ba-da-da-da-da-dun.
Roll credits.
And then
All
it just
right.
plays our outro
We
song.
never upload again.
That's the last.
Okay, bye
episode.
forever.
That's
Bye-bye,
the
bye.
phrase that
Take
we
care.
use.
Take care. Bye.
Well, later viewers.
Oh my God.
No, I'm just kidding.
Give us an actual send off, not an Irish goodbye.
Well, that was a good talk about games and the game industry and a couple of little things about shows. Didn't really talk about movies or anything. We should do one about music.
Ooh, yeah.
Shit,
music that we
bloody
like.
come on my ass.
Exactly. But
He gets it.
good talk, boys. If you wish to see more of what we do, we have an Instagram, we have a Twitter. We have to do that every
Actually.
time. Every time we mention the X, we have to say Twitter. We have a TikTok. And we're on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts now. So be sure to listen. We have a good handful of episodes up now, and we're just gonna keep cranking them out. We're gonna keep cranking 90s on you fuckers'
We're gonna
ears.
keep cranking hog until we can't no more. You know what I mean?
So, well, I guess we'll catch you in the next episode, and see you later.
I'm going to catch you so hard.
Oh God.
Bye bye.